Welcome back to What She Said Sunday night. All right. So welcome back to the What She Said Sports Sunday night live stream. Let's ride, right? So you're probably gonna hear me say that a lot because that's what we do. We ride out, we ride hard for the Colorado Buffs, we ride out for Shedeur Sanders, the players, black players in the NFL, all sorts of kind of things as it pertains to sports. Hell, now we're talking about snowboarding, keeping up with Zeb. Saw some more of his footage. Dude is a phenom, right? So if you saw the thumbnail, you noticed that I wanted to give y'all an opportunity for us to have dialogue surrounding Shadur being back at Colorado and what it meant and why the timing was perfect, right? And in particular, after the game, I saw a post where Shadur was headed back to Cleveland. Well, he was on a jet, looked like headed back to Cleveland. So the way they lost with Shedeur standing there was kind of crazy to me because, a lot of people were saying while they were in the stands, everybody was excited to see him and talking about we need a beer in Shadur. And now you can see how much he meant to the school. And I think he was looking for where his retired number was. See, he needed that. He needed that because he's in a bad situation. People want to say, oh, his time will come. You don't know that. And based on the climate that we live in, the things, what you see happening in the NFL, you don't know that, right? None of us expected Shiloh to get cut and fined. None of us. We figured, maybe they would suspend him or whatever. Maybe they would have suspended the other guy. That didn't happen. So for people to say, oh, his time will come, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that. And I'm not sure that the opportunity he gets will, one, be fair. Why would it be? They haven't been fair up to this point. And I know we say we want to wait for God to change people's hearts. That don't happen overnight. Not saying it's not going to happen. I'm saying don't set yourself up for fool's gold because he's still there, that he's going to get a fair opportunity. If Dylan got to get knocked out for him to get in the game, it doesn't mean that they're going to be gracious and let him play like we know Shadur can play. I think it says a lot that Shadur could go back to Colorado and everybody happy to see him at a time when Colorado just looks like lost. And I'm not talking about the players, right? The recruiting, they're losing. One of the quarterback that was on the sideline, we talked about him. That kid that was supposed to be coming in. I said, Pat Schumer made sure he didn't come. Kaden had 12 reps. Why would I go to a school and a quarterback only get 12 reps? That's bad for the kids that are already there. For the kids on the outside, it's saying, don't come, don't come, don't come. And for them to lose like that in front of Shadur, knowing Shadur had to call his own plays, it's crazy. That means they not deterred by nothing. Guilt, the willingness to let these kids have the fair opportunity they worked so hard for. No, it's like they a steamroller getting ready to steamroll Coach Prime. Another college football coach got fired. Hugh Freeze on the job. How many years? 2.5. Don't forget, LSU fired their coach and they didn't have a losing season. So I'm telling you right now, somebody at CU is on a mission. And I believe it's more than to destroy. I think it's to upend everything that Coach Prime has done, suffocating the recruiting by making sure the offense don't look good. For those of you who think, oh, I don't ever want to see Caden again, let me just say this. Do the math on his stats and look at what his passer rating was. Shout out to JuJu for getting an opportunity in the game. He should have been QB2. Why was he coming in at QB3? Shout out. Ponder finally got in, but didn't get a whole opportunity to do much. We have 4 quarterbacks play in that game in front of Shadur. What was that about? Whose idea was that? Who's running the show? So I did, I took a poll to see, for the most part, what it's going to be. To see, I wanted to get people's temperature to see how they felt about the 4 quarterbacks that we played and who should be the starter going forward. We got 3 games left. Who should be the starter going forward? Caden, Ryan Staub, JuJu, or Dominique Ponder. All 4 of them played in the game this past weekend, yesterday. JuJu scored a touchdown. Caden had 2, 1 got called back. Staub, I don't even know why he was QB2. But I am happy to see Ponder get an opportunity, but it looked like a short one. What the hell is going on over there? People say the quarterback coach is also Pat Schumer. The yards that we gave up on offense, the yards that we gave up on defense was insane. And it's happening 2 weeks in a row, and it's going to keep happening because the people behind it are not being held accountable. So it was perfect for Coach Prime for Shadur to come in because Coach Prime himself, as the head coach, everybody's looking to him. He's essentially Stefanski. And I've said it before, there's no way that what the hell is going on in Cleveland should be happening in Colorado. So it was good for them too to connect and for everybody to see, you know, the smile on Coach Prime's face, to see them walk from end to end. You're not going to stop what they got going on. It's true. You might upend Coach Prime's time at CU. You might hold back Shadur and Cleveland, but they going to move on. That's why people roll with the Sanders. That's why we ride with them. They're going to move on. But not without a lesson first. Shadur already got his lesson. He knows to still be himself and that there's absolutely nothing he can do to make Stefanski or Haslam buy into him and see him as a valuable quarterback. He knows that. Now, whether or not he's resigned himself to understand that the NFL doesn't see him as valuable and refuses to do so and has no intentions on letting up, but maybe to pass him around until he quit or terminate his contract just out the blue, because they could do that. I don't know if he made it to that part of the lesson yet. That's a different chapter, and that comes with time. Things happen over time to let you know, okay, this ain't gonna work out, because that's where I am with CU. After yesterday's game that we only talked the second half in the pregame, I'm like, okay, this season is gone. 2 games ago, I said the OC need to go. In Coach Prime's press conference, people didn't like his response. Once again, don't blame nobody, just blame me. It don't work like that, Coach. I love you, but See, you can't shoulder the blame to avoid accountability. Because they're going to keep bullying you, because that's what they're doing. And they did it in front of your son, which means they're not going to stop. They don't care who's there. They don't care who's not. They don't care who's hurt. They don't care who's in the way. They're going to get steamrolled. The mission is to tear down everything Coach Prime built at CU. Starting with, let me hurt the recruiting, because it's hurting. For that quarterback to come to CU and people to say he committed to Texas Tech for the money, don't lie to yourself like that. He didn't commit for the money. He committed because he saw Caden get 12 reps as a quarterback as QB1. He saw how poor the play calling was, and he didn't see nobody do nothing about it, so he went to Texas Tech. That's why he went to Texas Tech. See, letting the situation bleed out, that's going to get you fired. Because management, you got to know how to fire people. Michael Vick fired his defensive staff before they went to Philly. And they actually played a little better. They were actually competitive. I mean, they lost, but the point is, he made the change mid-season. You can't have the mindset that, okay, his contract is over after this year. What about Doc? Maybe he can't fire Doc. Maybe he can't fire Pat Schumer. Well, that means you stuck. And they're going to do everything in their power to embarrass you. And they did it in front of your son, who was there last year and who in the NFL is paying greatly to putting that team on his back. Something people mad because Caden not doing what Shadur did. Caden don't even have no sleeve. JuJu probably don't have a sleeve. And neither does any other quarterback over there. What were the first 2 plays of the game? Bubble screens. That told you what time it was going to be. So for the people who, Caden this, Caden that, Caden going to go on and be great. Because he was great before he got here. He's just in the middle of a hot mess that seemingly either Coach Prime refuses to or does not have the power to fix. Now, if he finds himself in a situation where they're making him a lame duck, he know his days are numbered. And that's when the Sanders men going to have to regroup. But if he has any power, hold on one second. So essentially, Coach Prime is in a bad situation. And the reason why I say he's in a bad situation is because either he refuses to hold Schumer accountable. You already saw him chase Doc up the side. So we know he feels some type of way, right? But either he hasn't resigned himself that Schumer is the problem, and he don't want to admit that Schumer is the problem because Schumer came highly recommended from some of his NFL buddies, or he can't. I don't know what it is. Either way, it's a bad situation. He's in a bad situation, which is why it was good Shedeur popped up to see him. But when you put in 4 quarterbacks, you don't trust none of the quarterbacks you have. And this is why there's a rumor that JuJu has already notified Colorado that he gone. I've heard it twice now. Somebody came back in greater detail. And I asked y'all when we was watching a little bit of the game we did watch, I said, why Coach Prime not look happy that JuJu made a touchdown? I said, and the person that came to the comments that told me that, if you in there, identify yourself. I said, well, I guess it makes sense now. If JuJu already committed to go, they put him in the game after stop, which is insane. He scores a touchdown like that. Nobody's happy. Because he gone. You can't blame him. And if that's what it really is, I want us to respect his decision because he's not wrong. How dare you put 5-star JuJu Lewis in after stop? That tells me that somebody got Coach Prime in the chokehold where stop is concerned. And to be honest with you, he shouldn't even be on the team. For what? Put him on a scout team. But to put him in front of a 5-star JuJu who's talented, who got out there and showed you like that, he's talented. People said, damn, JuJu must have got in and ignored Pat Schumer's play calling. Or maybe Pat Schumer decided to go ahead and be decent with the play calling with JuJu because he already decided to bounce. But to put stop in second tells me that's why that program is a hot mess. There is no way. There is no way. I don't even know if they're being developed. And for people that say Schumer is the QB coach, then I'm going to say no. It's not wrong for the other kid to go to Texas Tech. It's not wrong for JuJu to bounce if that's the plan. Respect his decision because he ain't wrong. For him to be put in after stop and stop to throw 2 damn interceptions and Ponder to get this much time, he should bounce too. Too bad Caden don't have nowhere to bounce to. Maybe the pros in some other level in another country or something. But I think when I did the math, he had a 73% passer rating. That is not somebody who should have been taken out the game. He had 2 touchdowns, 1 call back, and then JuJu had 1. That's 3. The play calling, people are calling it out. Caden not a bad quarterback. He not. He going to be Baker Mayfield because Colorado is Cleveland. And with Coach Prime as the head coach, that don't make no sense. And the only person who can bring Cleveland to Colorado is Pat Schumer. But we saw Coach Prime chase who up the field? The defensive coordinator. So why is Coach Prime aligning with and protecting Pat Schumer? Because that's the one that's doing him in. I'm not going to sit up here and believe for 5 seconds that Pat Schumer is just old and sleepy and don't know what the hell he's doing and he's incompetent. Kevin Stefanski know what he's doing, and so does Pat Schumer. The question is, does Coach Prime? So Shadur coming in was like an angel that he needed. But it should have been a reminder of what Shadur had to endure. The fact that he got to have back treatment on a plane to get down here after being sacked all of this time. And that he got to have back treatment because he got to go out here. His jersey number retired, but he did it with Coach Prime knowing that Shadur had to make it rain, make something happen. And as I told y'all, no quarterback is coming to Colorado to override Pat Schumer. None. You can't ask nobody to do that. And if you do, then you're telling them you're either not willing or afraid to hold Pat Schumer accountable. Now, y'all know I love Coach Prime. I really do. But something ain't right here. I have asked y'all, are they extorting him? I'm like, do they have something on him? I was joking one time and said, did they kidnap Shadur and Shiloh? Because what the hell? The only thing I can see, the correlation here, is that they some NFL folks. And that's why he's going to regret bringing them in. Because just like the NFL did him dirty in the draft, along with his 2 sons, in this program, the same thing is happening in Colorado. And either he can't do nothing about it, he doesn't understand that they are the problem and it's happening again, or he absolutely refuses to. But guess what? The parents of the recruit see what's going on. The recruit is already suffering. Y'all know what the portal gonna look like. There's not gonna be much left. And I ain't gonna tell you Colorado gonna let him spin the block one more time. Not with the way they out here firing people after 2.5 years. And I told y'all, Coach Prime is the longest tenured Black coach that Colorado has had in over 120 years. People on X talking about, oh, it's a rebuilding year. I don't hear no rebuild narrative happening. Oh, I don't hear that at all. And honestly, I don't think it's a rebuild year. I think it's a fall apart year, because when things fall apart, they bleed out. There's no sense of urgency to dismiss whether it was Lewis or to dismiss Schumer. Okay, maybe you can't dismiss Doc, but you can say one side of the ball. Ain't no reason why you can't dismiss Schumer. You got to see you sitting up there seeing what's happening. They know football. They've been having a football program for over 100 years. So if they are in the place of Haslam and Coach Prime is in Stefanski, you know what I mean? He got some say-so, don't he? Or is Schumer Stefanski? And CU is Haslam. And Coach Prime is Shadur. I saw people on X talking about how JuJu is like Shadur and Caden is Dylan. I'm like, y'all out y'all damn mind. Y'all don't know football. A 73 passer rating is not Dylan at all. And yes, JuJu did score a touchdown, but his passer rating was 53, which meant he needs to develop. And why aren't these players being developed? In addition, tell me why the hell it is Staub came out there QB2. That was the dagger in the program. What you think those players are thinking when they put Staub back out there again, that he has to be out there? Why? Because he white? That's what it's giving, because he ain't good. And he know it. So they using him like they want to use Jackson Dart, but he ain't nowhere near Jackson Dart. And Jackson Dart ain't good without Cam Scatterboo. Do you see how that works? They wanted to use the run game in Colorado this year, but that didn't work out again. You got a whole run pass option quarterback, and you didn't even use him to that until the team was up 17-0. And at no point do we see Coach Prime making a change when things are sliding down into the gutter. The season got to end first. They got to get fired, and maybe I'm going to get grace and get some more people in. It don't work like that. That's not good management. I'm sorry. No. And if they got you over a barrel, then just tell us, blink twice or something, so we can help you. But just to let this fester like this, which hurts these kids' careers, it ain't right. It's not right at all. And somebody tried to paint the picture in the media that Coach Prime bitch Caden in front of Shadur. See how messy people are? You see how messy people are? I don't know what Caden was thinking when he get bitched again after Coach Prime comes to him and say, I'm committed to you. And they don't even put JuJu in, which was the 1 and the 2. They go to Staub. It just tells me that this is about trying to force Coach Prime into who the quarterback gonna be. And the only way he gonna save his job at Colorado is if he recruit who they want him to recruit at quarterback and every other position out here. And you're gonna see that team go from majority Black to majority white. And they don't care whether he wins or loses. It's just he has to do what they say. That's why I say pack this shit up and just go to FAMU and coach over there. Because they need a coach. Coach Prime from Florida. It's the right thing to do. Because it was not worth it leaving Jackson State. Yeah, you're going to have some millions in your pocket, but you could have had them anyway. Just not from Jackson State. You would have got it from endorsements and all this, that, and the other. You would have got it. Because if it's for you, right? So when you look at the numbers, most people think JuJu should be the starter going forward for the last 3 games. I don't think it matters if it's true that he notified them he out. We already know Caden is gone. The kid we were interested in committed to Texas Tech. So who we got? Ponder, because I ain't gonna say we got Ryan Staub, and that's not now you know why he never hopped into the portal. Now you what for what? But he gets to come out behind Caden after Caden is made to look bad. It's just the same cycle repeating itself, and it could have been cut off by now. But some people either can't or refuse to implement accountability. So you tell me, what is Coach Prime protected in terms, not his DC, because he let it be known how he feel about that. His OC. What the hell is he really protecting? You let me know. So that was the poll for the 4 quarterbacks that played in the game. Shout out to Julian Lewis. I don't know where he gonna end up. Y'all let me know what schools y'all think Julian gonna end up with. I don't know. I don't know where he could go. I mean, I guess he could go anywhere, hell, because a lot of people get fired. A lot of people gonna be moving around. He's a good quarterback. Some people call him Little Shadur because he's a pocket passer, right? And the whole funny thing about the whole pocket passer thing is you let the NFL tell it they don't want no more of them. That's what Shadur is, supposedly, right? I was reading Dylan Gabriel's scouting report, and it talked about his issues, right? It talked about how he's basically, he can run, but they're trying to label him as a pocket passer. One of the reasons Caden was hesitant to run first all of the time was because of the assault on dual threat quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson trying to keep him in the pocket. Caden Schumer trying to keep him in the pocket. But they want Josh Allen to run. So here's the thing. There's not an assault in college and in the NFL or the pros on dual threat quarterbacks or pocket passers. There's an assault on black quarterbacks. And hopefully Caden has gotten that message. Hopefully Shadur understands that's what's going on with him. Shadur and Caden are in the same situation. Ponder and JuJu are in the same situation. Neither one have had a true opportunity after transferring in to show what they can do. We've given more time to Staub when Coach Prime said it out of his own mouth that he knew Staub was where he was because he saw him in practice as a third string. And there were people that said Ponder was better than Staub. So in my opinion, JuJu, if he's leaving, I understand. Ponder, maybe he thinks if I stay, I'll get a chance. I don't know. But if they force Coach Prime to roll with Staub, he might as well just go head on and just keep it pushing. Because I don't think they're gonna let him recruit because he brought the young man in and Schumer ran him off by giving Caden 12 snaps. I told y'all on that video that we talked about, I said that's intentional. I said because he knew that young man was right there. And look at what happened. They doing everything they can to tear down this man's program so they can have an excuse to buy him out and flex their $47 million and say, here you go. And they already decided where it is he can't go next. So it's bittersweet. We got to watch JuJu make his first touchdown. I think he could be good. But with Pat Schumer calling the plays, it's just a matter of time. Why did he have to lead the game anyway? What happened? Somebody tell me why he had to lead the game since he was doing so well. Then we got to Ponder. So they put Ponder in fourth. You know, a lot of us or Coach Prime fans came back to the sport. Coach Prime at Jackson State. Some people before that, when he went to Trinity, and then Shadur and Shiloh, and then, you know, coming to Jackson State. Then you got Bucky and you got Darius. I was watching one of Darius's videos. I didn't even realize Darius was filming at Jackson State, and they were getting ready to come out the tunnel. And I say, you know, Colorado, it wasn't worth it. I'm pretty much ready to say they got him from Jackson State to disrupt what was going on at HBCUs. Because why? He had already flipped Travis, as somebody pointed out in the comments. And I was like, you know what? That's right. And then I remember all the recruits that were coming in that were ready to play for Coach Prime at Jackson State. They upended all of that. And then Some people said they thought it was because, so Shadur could win the Heisman or whatever. Then they get to Colorado and they make sure Shadur don't even get on the stage. And they tried to fight Travis off, but they had to give in. And then what happens in the draft? They held everybody else back and they let Travis go. Where was Travis today when Jacksonville won? Out for 4 games with a hurt knee, and they didn't even know what the hell was wrong with his knee, but they knew he was going to be out for 4 games. So we don't need you to win. That's the message. Start your own. That's the message that's coming from this. If you want to still continue to football, if football is the family business, you could go back to HBCU, but when you get that going, something's going to happen with that too. Start your own. Go back to HBCU. In the meantime, start your own. Because at the PWI level, he's going to continue to be resist. People are going to resist him for the same, exactly what he did at Colorado. It's crazy. We still trying to figure out. Several of us have had conversations offline, trying to figure out how did Colorado go get Coach Prime, because he was a winning coach and turned around a dormant program, right? Meaning Jackson State. And we want you to come do that at Colorado. And they ain't have the money to get it, but they went and found it. And he made them goo gobs of money. You trying to tell me he could bring his Louis luggage, the players, and you went and got him to help you win, but he can't bring the OC and DC that he had at Jackson State? He got to go with 2 random strangers? Because that's what happened. And it seems like when he moved them out the way, I don't know if he got duped into him thinking he bringing in the NFL folks. And then the NFL, at the time he's doing that, the NFL is already plotting against the whole damn program. They don't want Shadur to play because he's explosive. If you saw the play of the quarterbacks right now, it's trash, bro. The NFL is AZZ. Saints fans then pull out the whole Aints bag again because they just want to go with Tyler Shaw. They didn't care that Spencer Rattler was doing okay. The Browns didn't care that Shadur balled out with the Panthers. They don't care. We want to do this because nobody's going to check us. So we want white quarterbacks, whether it's in college or whether it's in the NFL. That's just what we want. Coach Prime had 3 black quarterbacks this season. You already know what's going on with Caden. You see JuJu was parked behind Star, and Ponda just now getting an opportunity with 3 games left. And then the kid that was thinking of coming to see you saw Caden get 12 reps and bounced and went to Texas Tech. This is going to happen as long as he's in the PWI and they feel threatened that he's going to be influential and bringing in black quarterbacks, black talent, black culture. Oh, they want the culture, but not from him. Because he has a football legacy. He's not the only Hall of Famer who's black, whose legacy they don't want. They don't want Jerry Rice's legacy either. Terrell Owens, they don't want his legacy either. Ryan Clark's son is on the practice squad. They don't want his either. And a lot of them kids went to Notre Dame, and that didn't help them, did it? When people realize, whether it's Shadur, Shiloh, Coach Prime, or anybody associated with them, when they realize that y'all not being held back because they don't like you, because that's disingenuous to say Stefanski doesn't like Shadur. That's disingenuous. Stefanski don't like black quarterbacks. But it's funny, a white person could say it. I mean, if we're gonna be scared to call, if y'all gonna be scared to call your own bullies out, they gonna keep bullying you. If white people can say Stefanski has been horrible to every black quarterback that Cleveland has had, then why do you keep thinking Shedur's time will come unless you mean Stefanski gonna be gone? It's disingenuous to say that Stefanski doesn't like Shadur. When white people can say he's been cruel to every black quarterback we have had, Shadur is no different, which is why he on the bench, because that's what God wants him to be, because he already got a back issue that they could use against him in his trade value. Because if that's what I want to do, that's what I'm going to do. If you're going to let your bullies bully you, all right then. Don't expect me to come watch, though. And honestly, Shedeur is being bullied. And so is Coach Prime. Now, Coach Prime could be self-inflicted. I'm not sure yet. And the reason I say that is because we don't know 100% why his OC and DC from Jackson State made the trip to Colorado, but neither one of them were given the assignment or the job. That's just weird to me. And I'm going to get that answer one day. It's going to come. I ain't going to have to look for it because I know somebody out there knows. And if it was his decision to bring Louis luggage and not the coaches, but just the players, but he brought them to Colorado, which is kind of weird, then it's self-inflicted. But if he brought them knowing or believing that he could make his own call, and he found out when he got there that he could not, just like with Byron Leftwich, then that should tell him that what's happening is intentional, and they only came and got you to disrupt what you was doing for all HBCUs. It's happening without him. Deshaun Jackson, Michael Vick. I don't know if the recruiting will ever be to where it was going with Coach Prime. I don't know if they're going to flip a 5-star. They're not there yet, but they could get there. But the point is, he had succeeded, and it seems like if he couldn't bring his own OC in DC, they could make the trip but not get the job. Then they didn't come to him for his winning ways at Jackson State, because you don't leave the coaches behind that ran the show with you and only bring the players, and they give you 2 random strangers. That's how you got set up. And then seemingly you go down the NFL route, or somebody puts it in your head, the idea in your head, and then you getting set up again. And they letting you know. The NFL not going to let you make it over here in college, and they're not going to let you make it over here in the NFL. They're just going to shut it down. There's nothing you could do. If there's nothing Shadur could do, and if that's the situation I just described, that he really didn't have a choice in the matter with the OC and the DC, did he really have a choice in these 2 right here? It seemed like he did, right? It sure seemed like it. And maybe that's why he didn't want to hold them accountable, because I went and picked them. But that's kind of crazy too, right? Because you letting the kids suffer because you chose them, and then you chose the last ones. See that mess right there? That's all got to be dealt with. Because Brett Bertalone made the trip, and somebody said Thurman, the DC at Jackson State, made the trip to Colorado, but they wanted to give him another job. So again, that problem, what's happening right now, goes all the way back to who the Louis luggage was. It shouldn't have been just the kids. It should have been the OC and the DC, because if you could win with them in Jackson State, you can win with them at Colorado. And if they said they wanted to get you because of your winning ways, and they don't let you bring coaches, you here for a short time, not even a good time. You there to make them money and take what you was doing at Jackson State and upend it for all HBCUs. That's what it is. And you just got to accept that they used you like that. And salvage the last 3 of these games, call them goddamn plays yourself. Put Caden back out there in one half, put JuJu out there in the second half. Give Ponder his time. And if you want to play Staub, fine. But let's not act like Staub is that guy. And they know he's not that guy. Staub is Dylan. For the people who thought JuJu was Dylan, no. Staub is Dylan. They know he can't, but I want to prop him up anyway because he's white. Now, I don't know if Coach Prime has come to understand that that's what's happening here. Hopefully he see this video respectfully. So I'm happy Shadur was there. Y'all already saw the results are in for the most part. Get off Caden back. He had a 73 QBR, 73 passer rating. Again, don't even know what the hell really transpired there, but I know the first 2 plays of the game was bubble screens. I think a lot of people who understand football, who are intellectuals, know that the play calling is the problem on offense, and it has not been remedied. There's 3 games left. It's an opportunity for Coach Prime to right this ship and call them plays his damn self. If you can't install Brett Bertalone and take that headset, if you can't take that headset from Pat Schumer, because see, you said you can't, then you're going to pack it up then. But if CU giving you a choice and telling you it's your team and it's up to you, and you leave Pat Schumer there for them 3 games, and he embarrassed you in front of your son and got you looking crazy out here with 4 quarterbacks again. I mean, that's just choices, and we all got choices, and we gonna pay for them choices. So I'm checking over here to see what y'all are saying. Oh, and for those of you that didn't see right fast, here are the numbers for the quarterbacks from yesterday. Right here, you can do the math yourself. Caden's numbers: 11 of 15. Julian was 9 of 17. I think he was 53%. Caden was 73%. I didn't even count Ponder and Ryan Staub. But the fact that Ryan Staub came out here after Caden tells me that either Coach Prime is not in control and he's allowing Schumer to run this ship into the ground. And there's consequences for that. And again, I ask y'all, what is Coach Prime protecting by protecting Pat Schumer and not holding him accountable? Because it ain't making no sense to me. Because he definitely wasn't part of that damn Louis luggage. Hey, Mac, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome back. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Don't hold back. 12 needs his number 2 before he start. Yeah, I agree. Didn't I hear him say something about the 2 yesterday? When he was on the side with he came, I think after he hugged his dad, or when he first got there, I think he was like, where is it? Where is it? Because I guess he didn't see it, or maybe he saw it when they unveiled it, but he hadn't been back. And he was happy to see that because it's a reminder for him of who he is, right? When you're in a situation where people beating down on you, bullying you all the time, you're in a toxic environment, it feels good to go back to be reminded as to who you are. So for Shadur, this was rejuvenation. That's what this was. So he can make it the rest of the way. And we don't know how long it's going to be. I'm not going to tell you, I think they're going to give him a fair opportunity with these 4 games. I looked at the schedule again. He got the toughest stretch. He got the toughest stretch in winter. I don't think they intend for him to be okay. They know he got a back injury. They could exploit it. So I want him to be careful about the way he moves, And I don't think they're going to want to let him play his explosive game. The goal is not for him to look good in Cleveland at all. And the NFL just seemingly is allowing it to happen. And why? Because people would rather talk about Stefanski doesn't like Shadur like it's a personal problem, when racism is not a personal problem. And in some states, it's listed as a health crisis because it's that damaging to an individual. And I checked, Kevin Stefanski is one of the lowest paid coaches in the NFL. Mike Tomlin is at the top, up there with Andy Reid. Andy Reid is $20 million. Mike Tomlin is $18 million. Stefanski is at the bottom, $3.5 million. They don't even value him. He just a faithful servant. See, that tells you why he has a job. They don't even compensate him like he's good, but he won 2 Coach of the Year award. No, he didn't. They gave that to him so people wouldn't give him credibility where there is none. 3.5 million and Tomlin up here at 18 million. Yeah, it's people that don't like that. They don't even value Stefanski. They just using him to do their bidding. So I pray Coach Prime have a come to Jesus meeting with the Lord and God just put it on his heart. Look, Prime, you're gonna need to go out there, forget these people right here. Go out there and win for these kids. The people you thought were your friends, they not on the college side and they not on the NFL side. You're gonna have to either start your own if you want to still be in the football business, or go to FAMU or Talladega or somewhere like that. That's just what it is. Let's get it caught on camera. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I bet a lot of owners are requesting or regretting not getting 12 for whatever reason. No, they don't. Let me tell you why. Because they stacked the deck to be mediocre. See, they didn't want Shadur because Shadur gonna outplay Jackson Dart. So Jackson Dart is the ceiling. So Tyler Shaw is the Dylan. The only reason Tyler Shaw is playing is because Cleveland refused to bench Dylan. So New Orleans was like, well, I might as well just put who I want out here. They didn't want to put Spencer Rattler out there. They didn't want to win with Spencer Rattler. They wanted Nussmeier's son to come in, which might be why Brian Kelly was fired. It's either that or Kyron Lacey, or both. LSU's without a president, an athletic director, and a head coach. Because if they want Nussmeier's son to come out at the top of the draft, and right now he's not at the top of the draft. His name is not in the top 5. Neither is any black quarterback for the first time in, how long? Yeah, they trying to make it great again. Y'all know Roland Martin, right? Roland Martin has a TikTok. He telling you who they are. He telling you who they align with. They align with the one that called them out in the draft, which tells you that's how Shadur got drafted. They didn't expect that. And they don't expect it ever again, which is why they steamrolling and doing whatever the hell they want to do. I told you they spend a lot of money to stay out of that spotlight. And out of the blue, they came to the defense of somebody that they never anticipated. We don't know why he did it. We don't know. Nobody asked, nobody cared. But it's going to take something like that or Jesus to get Shadur to where he's supposed to be in the NFL. And I ain't going to tell you he don't get there. I'm just telling you, it ain't going to be as easy as you think, right? Because we, when we say divine intervention has to fix this, it's true. But you're not going to just sit there and while they at a stadium, see the Lord come down out the sky and talk to Stefanski. It don't work like that. And God don't leave his people nowhere they're not appreciated. So all of that trying to smooth up to Steph and talking about his time will gonna come. If you don't do nothing about it, it's not gonna happen. See, that's who the missing piece is. The missing piece of the whole puzzle. The accountability not coming from within the organization. It's coming from the outside. We're on the outside. But if we're talking about, he just don't like Shadur, they ain't gonna do nothing about that. They don't care. They don't care that he don't like Shadur. That's personal problem. I care about illegalities, discrimination. When they decide to get to that point in unison, then somebody will do something about it. And you got to be willing to take the heat because Stephen A, and he could have been, trying to get back in, was like, the GM was fired because he black. Okay, imagine, I don't know, Shannon Sharp. They decide to say, yeah, Stefanski seems to be discriminating against. You think they're in the NFL? They were in the NFL. They know what it is. But they want to take the safe route and say he don't like Shadur. Why ain't nobody going to do shit about that? At all. And faith without works is dead. So. And if they cut him, what people going to say? Oh, they racist. You could have said that while he was there. And then you could have been the pressure and the accountability rather than talking about who the hell it is he liked. We don't care who he liked. The problem is he's racist. And it's not just against Shadur, also against Deshaun Watson, which is why he kept getting hurt. So what is it, Shadur's turn? And then that's when you going to say it? It's already out there for you. But you choose to take the safe route. So that's going to be what it is. That's going to be what it is. That's why I say Shadur is learning who his friends are and who his friends are not. Hey, Miss Pamela, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Gracie, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. The chat's all greeting everybody. Isaiah said Juju need to start. Black Star said let Juju play. Black Star also said get rid of the OC. I agree. Get rid of the offensive coordinator. Rick George leaves in 2026. Oh, that tell you what it is right now. Prime gets fired. Now the NFL will be calling. No. No. And what team is he gonna go to? The Browns? That would be nice. Do you know what it's gonna take for that to happen? It's gonna take for Brian Flores' lawsuit and the discovery to become available to the public and for them to want to be performative all over again. Because from where I could see, they taking a slow route. And what do I mean by the slow route? The NFL is AZZ. The play is mediocre, right? They just WWE and you pumping you up, trying to sell you entertainment because they want to push the athleticism of the black players aside. They want to push the black GMs aside. This is their opportunity to reclaim the majority of the league at all levels. This is it. Started in Cleveland, started the way, right? Instead of Cleveland firing Stefanski, they doubled down on Stefanski and talked about firing who? Andrew Berry. Same thing happened with the Dolphins, right? With the Dolphins, they were supposed to bench Tua. No, they doubled down and fired who? Their black GM. Stephen A is right. And there's so many people on standby waiting to denounce the racism When the NFL has 3 lawsuits in less than 5 years for racial discrimination, and one they settled for $1 billion against racial discrimination against black people. Shadur got him a whole lawsuit by himself. Black quarterbacks have a class action lawsuit by themselves. Colorado could actually sue the NFL for tampering with CU's program in the draft. It's so many opportunities out here to capitalize. And people want to take the slow route. Okay, well, slow and painful is going to be what it is. They don't want to call out the bullies. They don't want to hold people accountable. I'm going to ask y'all again. At this point, we have watched Coach Prime make his feelings known, whether he wanted to or not, whether he just lost it, with the defensive coordinator. And we know the DC got paid more, got paid before Coach Prime. It paid handsomely for work that the now pro Buffs did when they were at CU. So why is it when it comes to the offense that Coach Prime seems to be aligning with Pat Schumer, who's just nothing but pulling a Stefanski in Colorado? That's crazy, because this is what's happening to your son. So while it was rejuvenating for Shadur, and he needed this, the love of the fans, this, that, and the other, to see his pops, etc. But just know, walking into that stadium, to that crowd, calling for him, he needed that. It's going to help him get through the rest of the way. But Coach Prime needed a reminder of what Shadur went through with Pat Schumer as OC, and why is it still happening? A reminder, the back treatment Shadur got to have on a jet because of how many times he was sacked at CU while situation was allowed to bleed out when you could have just fired the man. What are we protecting? It can't be your relationship with the NFL, because I know Pat Schumer was well connected. I did my research. You ain't got nothing to lose in that department. If these people got you over a barrel because of what could be in your next step or what could happen with your son, you don't believe in God. Because that's who got the last say so. So y'all tell me, what is he protecting? Because he's protecting something where the OC is concerned. And even when you friends with somebody like friendly for 25 years, at some point you see enough happening, and who is happening to. Happening with Shadur, happening with Caden, happening with the program itself. Just like year one, just like if he the other guy, is it going to hurt to admit that he playing you too? Like you in a bad relationship and you got everything invested here, and you scared to hold the person accountable because your life going to change forever. It's going to do that regardless. But if you believe in God, you're going to have to make them choices. You're going to have to make them hard decisions and learn from them. And resign yourself that them NFL folks ain't for you. Because if you ain't ready to let that go, well, those that don't listen feel. Love you, coach. All right, so it said get rid of the OCs. Facts. I do think JuJu can play. I don't know if he needs to start. I think it don't matter who starts. I think that was the whole point. That was the whole point, and I said this when we were live. I said it doesn't matter who the hell the quarterback is if the OC is still Pat Schumer. We played 4 quarterbacks. This is the second time we have played 4 quarterbacks. This is instability. This is a bad look. Schumer got Coach Prime looking dumb out here. 4 quarterbacks, and you got nowhere with none of them. So either all of them are not developed, none of them are good, or you just shooting at the win. You don't have a real strategy to win. Why are we doing what Pat Schumer want to do? Why are we doing what Stefanski want to do? Does Coach Prime not understand that he's letting Stefanski lead him from Cleveland by way of Pat Schumer? See, everybody want to talk about who got the same agent. You need to be talking about the connection between Stefanski and Schumer, because that's the problem. Because I know they somewhere high-fiving after last night. That's the problem. Not who their agents are. Stefanski and Schumer. It said Juju should only start 2 of the 3 games so he can keep his red shirt. Okay, all right. I like it, CJ. It said them folks got Coach Prime over a barrel. It must be. It's something. It's something. And a lot of people, I know a lot of people get defensive or they want to be upset. But see, here's the thing, right? When you care about people, you don't lie to them. You say, hey, everything okay? Because this not like you, right? Normally you try to play to win and you for the kids, but it looked like you for Schumer and not for the kids. And the parents can see that. And the reporters were asking him that. What do you say to the parents about this, that, and the other? And in my opinion, he got defensive. And one of the reporters say it's even weird being up there right now. So I'm just saying. Hey, that boy wig. It said if Juju leaves, they can't be mad at him. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't want to hear no Juju slander. It said for doing so. It said Colorado spent all of that time and effort to get him there just to treat him like that is diabolical. Right. How the hell is Juju behind stop? I was like, what the hell is going on? See, that's how I knew. I said, okay, because y'all were telling me because I wasn't really watching. It was up there. Right. I'm like, why is Stop coming out here like he QB2? I'm like, see, this is how you know they got you. They telling you what to do. Because for one, Colorado look like Cleveland and you want to put Dylan out here. Kevin is not no damn Dylan. Staub is Dylan. And Schumer knows exactly what Staub is capable of. But it was more important for Schumer at the behest of who? I don't know. To push up Staub. And he not even eligible for the NFL. And even if he was, it would be quid pro quo or a favor to a friend, just like Dylan. This ain't no disrespect to Staub. Staub already said, I don't have NFL aspirations. They using him just like they using Dylan. And again, all of this Cleveland BS happening in Colorado, it just should not be. The difference between Colorado and what's happening with Coach Prime is if he's Stefanski, he got a lot to do with it. People say Stefanski don't have no power. Well, he damn sure have a choice. And if he knew what they asked him to do was to hold back Shadur, he could have said no. But he takes pleasure in it and dehumanizing Shadur. And that shouldn't be happening at Colorado because Coach Prime is the goddamn boss over there. They let him bring all them people in, bring in black culture, HBCU culture, all of that. They ain't said no to nothing. So who the hell is that's letting it run rim shot all over this damn program then? Like you say, we don't even see Rick George. So he like, I ain't gonna go out there and take the blame for that. Colorado let him do everything. So what is he protecting? Are you protecting that they stripped you of your power like they did Mike Tomlin? Well, yeah, you're going to lose your recruits because the kids going to see that from within before we see it on the outside looking in. He protected something. I'd like to think it have nothing to do with Shadur because it ain't nothing you can do with that. Unless you're going to talk to Stefanski and Stefanski, what's his name? Schumer going to be like, yeah, go ahead and ease up on Shadur. Again, I'm pretty sure Haslam got something to say about that, right? I'm pretty sure the NFL got something to say about that, right? I'm pretty sure the NFL Players Association got something to say about all of that. It's a lot of people who got something to do with what's happening with Shadur. And it didn't start in Cleveland. It started in the draft. So it ain't nothing Schumer could do unless Schumer gonna call Roger Goodell and Roger Goodell gonna call the 32 owners that passed on Shadur and say, all right, we good with Shadur now, let it play. If that's what you saving by sacrificing all these kids, oh, that ain't gonna work out well. You might as well just resign. But it's too many other people involved in that situation for me to think it's that. But he said he protected something. And whatever it is, it's greater than the program. People going to get mad, but it's the reality. I saw his face yesterday after JuJu scored. I said, why he look like that? It looked like he hopeless. He can't do nothing. Shout out to the kid that went to Texas Tech. That was the right move. This time last year, didn't JuJu commit to Colorado? It said if Coach Prime don't get a new OC and a new QB coach, I think Lewis' dad will tell him we leaving. It said Julia Lewis' dad will talk with Prime after the season. From what I heard, they'd already had them conversations. I heard Coach Prime say when questioned about JuJu redshirting, he said he doesn't know what JuJu parents have decided for him in the future. Well, there you go. JuJu's parents, that's they call. In other words, he ain't got no influence in it, and they making decisions, and I'm sure they got an agent, and I'm sure they quietly behind the scenes working on some things. So maybe the rumors about JuJu bouncing is true. I told y'all JuJu and Kaden were friends. JuJu didn't even like the way Kaden was being treated. The fact that none of them kids got a sleeve and Shadur had one is a problem. That's the biggest discrepancy. It's almost like Coach Prime made a deal with Pat Schumer. Just let Shadur call his plays this year, and next year I'm gonna let you have control. That's what it looks like. Because how can Shadur get away with it, even though the NFL is punishing him for it? Because where the dog in the leader patch is at? Everything he did last year, he not doing this year. It's like he turned the reins over to Pat Schumer, and I get it. You was out for the summer dealing with bladder cancer. You came back. You came back. And if I'm not mistaken, Pat Schumer ain't making $10 million a year, and them boosters gonna talk about that. We ain't paying him to run it in the ground. How do you let him run it in the ground and they paying you $10 million? That's crazy. So what is he hiding? I'm not being disrespectful. This is a real legitimate question. We done made it, boiled it all the way, we done boiled all the water out the pot to get to the point where it's obvious that you let them make the decisions. And I mean them, him. Because we saw how you felt about what was happening on defense with the DC. You let us see that. We have never even heard any type of accountability towards Pat Schumer. Only deflection. I'll take responsibility. It don't work like that. You don't get to say it's my bad and don't hold Schumer accountable. That's what's going to get you fired. They're not paying Schumer $10 million to run this program into the ground. They're paying you to make sure he don't run it into the ground. And if you're willing to sacrifice that money, then okay, well, I'm sure they'll find a way not to pay it. It said JuJu should only stay if major coaching changes are made at CSU. It said otherwise at CU. It said otherwise he should be at a better program where he can really develop. Right. He need to be at a program that got a quarterback coach, because I don't think we got one. I know people saying it's Schumer, but he not even an OC. Let's just be honest. He just there messing things up. And I don't know where he will go to school. And the way the climate is right now, they can retaliate against that kid. Well, you left USC to go to Colorado, so we're just going to leave you out here. So I'm sure his parents are working on something. But he didn't like what was happening. There's a lot of people didn't like what was happening to Kaden. There are people that will tell you he ain't the problem. But people want somebody to blame. And to me, it's the same thing in Cleveland. People want to blame Andrew Berry, but not Stefanski. People want to blame Kaden, but not Pat Schumer. Get the hell out of here with that. I see it happening in two places. And it shouldn't be happening at Colorado. There's no point in Coach Prime being there if he can't protect the program from people like Schumer that come with NFL ideology and about style is cerebral. I don't give a damn if he's cerebral. He ain't good. Because I want him to be white. I want the white quarterback. The only way he gonna keep that job is if he get whatever goddamn quarterback they want to be there at CU. They already have stripped him away of his power. I'm just shocked that he would put up with that, but it's surprising to me. Coach Prime is boisterous, right? He speaks up. And to be seemingly docile in this situation makes me ask, what the hell is he protecting? That's why I'm like, did they kidnap Shadur? I know I saw him. You ain't going to save his career because you couldn't save him in the draft. So I wouldn't worry about that. Again, that's not having faith in God. And if that's not it, then what is it? So I'm keep reading y'all comments to see what y'all come up with. It said, I can't wait for the book. Oh, I know it's the book. Oh, I know it's the book. And Kaden need to be the author. It said, I want to hear the behind the scenes details on the interaction of Coach Prime, Schumer, K-Salt, JuJu, and Staub. A must read. Put Ponder in there too. Yeah. Now, I'm with you on this one. I said it. I said it's a book somewhere. I said it should be Kaden telling it. Right? And here's the thing, right? It's a bunch of interviews out there. You can string them up together and make you a movie right fast. Because I will never forget. I still have saved the interview where Coach Prime scoffed when they asked him who was going to start the Georgia Tech game. He said, Kaden, of course, that's my decision. And then I hope to see Juju at number 2, and we so far from that. Yeah, Caden is starting, but he's being hampered and hindered and held back in his NFL year because they want to prop up Staub, who has no NFL chance, just like who. So maybe they want to get Staub over there to get him the Dillon special. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It said with Rick George contract up in 2026 and he brought Coach Prime in to see you, who knows? I mean, that says a lot right there. That says a lot right there. FAMU would be a great opportunity. I think he need to go to FAMU. Here's why I think he need to go to FAMU. And I'm not saying he was wrong for leaving Jackson State. I'm not saying that at all. I said they see you and others. They had conversations. Okay, y'all see what's going on over there at them HBCUs, right? You got Prime down there. He got all the, ESPN have been down there. He got the 1.8 million views. He got the kids. He done flipped Travis, and they hated him. Oh, Lord, they hated him after he flipped Travis. And what did they do? They coaxed right on in and waved them green dollars. That's what they did. And that's what they always do. It's always the money. Even when you got money, they still could get you with the money. And now I got you away from there. I disrupted that. Even Eddie George got up and left and went to Bowling Green. So I'm basically unraveling all the good things that the NFL legends have done at HBCUs. I'm putting it on pause. And while a new group is coming over, Deshaun Jackson, Michael Vick, Coach Taylor, and getting it together, I'm upending your whole coaching reputation so you never get a job in the Power 5 again, and you just gonna be at home at your ranch. I got a 2-for-1. I got you out the game. And NFL has already made it clear. So all I got left, because I looked at the schedule, I said, okay, when is Coach Prime last game? And when is Shedur's first game? Because I have a theory. I have a theory here. If they boo Coach Prime out, when we play Arizona State, I told y'all they was going to Herm Edwards Coach Prime. That's the second to the last game. We got 3 games left. West Virginia, Arizona State, and K-State. If they try to Herm Edwards Coach Prime and fire him with 1 game left, it's so Doc Livingston could come in, win a game, and they sell season tickets again for next year. Then again, if that don't happen, Coach Prime going to be there next year. I don't know who the OC going to be, but it don't matter because why? They gave Doc Livingston that contract. So either they're going to have to buy Doc out and let Coach Prime, and that's God's grace, would be to let Coach Prime start over and pick his own OC and DC. And it need to be Brett Bertolone, who came from Jackson State. And I don't know who the DC should be. But I don't want no NFL people. I don't. I want some college people. I want some people who are not politicky. I want some people who are not trying to hold back black quarterbacks and black athletes. I want some people who want to play football and want to win football games. Not some people who working with the NFL to make sure that we don't have 17 of 32 black quarterbacks because of who coming out of college. That's the worst thing to have happened. This was supposed to be the year that he was free of all that. And it's like he walking in the woods and has stuck his foot in a bear trap and there's nobody else to help. He got to make his own decision to try to fix it, but he can't because it's too painful. That's what he's giving. Again, I have no idea how they came and got him from Jackson State. And he brought Louis luggage, but not the coaches. They could make the trip, but not get the job. That's problem number 1. Number 2 is when we got rid of Lewis. How is it they end up with Pat Schumer when it was well known in the NFL that he wasn't good? And I don't even know Rob Livingston to know where he came from. Maybe Pat Schumer. I don't know how Pat Schumer got to Colorado. Just kind of weird. Ponder is leaving too. He better. He better. It says Salter was good in the last league he was in. It said you have to be crazy not to see. First of all, I know stats. I told you I speak Statanese. Salter has a 73% passer rating. He had 2 touchdowns and 1 callback, and nobody want to talk about that. That is the second time that has happened to Kaden Salter. The first time it was Omarion with a holding penalty. This time it was Omarion and Yaya. I don't know what the hell going on. Them kids might not like each other. I don't really care. They scoring their own self over if that's the case. But you can't say that somebody with a 73% passer rating that had 2 goddamn touchdowns is a problem when the game starts with 2 bubble screens. And then he can run the ball after the team is up 17-0. That just means they successful at pulling the wool over your eyes so you could think Caden is the problem. Because here's the thing, the same shit gonna happen in Cleveland. And you know what you're gonna say? Oh, Shadur is the problem. It's the same play. And nobody wants to hold Stefanski accountable. Nobody wants to hold Schumer accountable. It's always Shadur. It's always Caden. And their numbers don't lie. But people just want to blame the quarterback. Like you can't blame the OC. His play calling is trash. And it's intentional. First time is a mistake. It keeps happening. It's intentional. Why he's still there is the question. He should have been gone. I don't even know how he got there. I'm less concerned about how he got there. I want to know why he has not been fired. Because he's obviously the problem. 4 damn quarterbacks and you can't do nothing with none of them. And the one that did score a touchdown, the second quarterback, the third quarterback, JuJu, who should have been the second QB, you leave him in the game and he exits with a 53% passer rating. Do you think that helped that kid? I told y'all, putting JuJu in with Schumer calling plays ain't the answer. And Schumer obviously taking a liking, just like Stefanski is with Dylan, to stop for no damn reason other than he's white or not black. This ain't on Caden. This ain't on JuJu. This ain't on Ponder. This on Pat Schumer. Just like it's on Stefanski. And if you don't know the connection between these two, I did a whole goddamn video about it. That's the connection you need to be worried about. Because that's what's taking down Colorado, and that's what's holding back Shadur. And it don't have shit to do with who they like and don't like. Coach Prime started dating and lost his focus. Oh my God. No, B. B said he not focused because he started dating. B, wasn't he dating when he was at Jackson State? Wasn't he dating when he got to Colorado and they went 3-0? Come on, B, that ain't it now. Come on now. It says CP always wanted to coach the Florida Gators. Okay, well, he might get his chance. But I doubt it. It said what she said sports JuJu staying unless they don't fire Schumer. I don't know. They say he already turned, basically saying he out the door. And what did Coach Prime say? Somebody said it, Coach Prime Freeman, that something about he don't know what the plans are for JuJu. If Coach Prime don't know what the plans are for JuJu, there are plans for JuJu. You follow me? He's not a part of that. Because why? He had his opportunity. He got JuJu to leave USC, come to Colorado, and let Pat Schumer put in Ryan Stark. And tear down Caden right in front of JuJu's face. Right in front of the face of the kid that ran over to Texas Tech. I don't want to hear no JuJu slander. I wish that young man well. I'm shocked that Coach Prime will let this happen. Yeah, it's JuJu time. It said they knocked poor CJ Stroud out today. Yup, he gonna retire too. He need to. Because they just gonna hurt him until he does. Okay, so 420 said that JuJu should start. I don't know. Because if the kid is thinking about leaving, I don't know. If Pat Schumer's still calling the plays, I don't want JuJu out there. He left the game with a 53% passer rating. That kid is trying to transfer out. That's not right. There's no point because why would I put JuJu in when we're down by how many touchdowns? He wasn't going to save that game. Pat Schumer's the one that need to make the adjustments on the OC. And with Brett Bertolone out there and Coach Prime not doing it, I'm telling you, there's something we don't know. CP says he knows the answer to the problem. Let's see what changes he makes. Okay. All right, we're going to see because you got 3 games. It said JuJu's hand cramp. Is that what happened? His hand got messed up? Thank you. It appears Coach Prime has lost some of his confidence after the draft mess with the NFL. You think that's what it is? That's not a bad point, I guess. What do y'all think about that? Maybe what happened in the draft, maybe his confidence just kind of gone. I don't know. I mean, it could be. You could look at it from that perspective, right? Some people say they thought after the summer with the whole battle with bladder cancer that they thought it had something to do with that. I was like, no, I didn't think it had nothing to do with that, but it's reason why he protected Pat Schumer. It is. And you can't make me believe he aligns with Pat Schumer this year, but Shadur could call his plays against Pat Schumer last year, because Shadur is paying greatly for that right now. And I said it. Kaden, like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want that to happen to me. And I ain't mad with him. He should have never been put in that situation. He should have had exactly what Shadur had. If Shadur had the freedom to call audibles, the fact that he don't have a sleeve, none of them do, tells you that Pat Schumer or Coach Prime is allowing the OC to have total control after Shadur had the control. See, that ain't right. That ain't right. If they got Juju there because of Shadur, then why he don't have a sleeve like Shadur? Why he can't call his own plays like Shadur? It's bait and switch. And I don't know why it seems like Coach Prime absolutely has to give in to Pat Schumer, who contracts in at this year, unless it was secretly extended by CU. It's not making no sense. There's a missing piece to this puzzle that Coach Prime is choosing to align. Like when he came out and said for that one game that they want to run 200 yards. I'm like, who are you going to do that with? You ain't never done that. Because Pat Schumer was upset in one of the meetings that they wasn't running the ball. Well, where you going to go with it? You didn't have no run game. You had to fix your O-line first, and that seemingly seems to have maybe possibly been fixed. I don't know. If Pat Schumer calling the plays, I ain't watching the game. What's going to change? What's going to change if Pat Schumer is calling the plays? That's what I'm saying. Travis is not Travis without Shadur. I thought he did really good. It said they messed up the Jaden Daniels. Yep. Tina say, wake up. It said Juju got hurt on his last play. He went to the sideline holding his hand. Bucky shows it in his second video. Okay, thank you for that. So he ended up hurting his hand. Interesting. Uncle Neely said Juju hit his hand on the helmet. God darn. I noticed that Rick George is not as active or interested this year. He's not on the sideline. He's not on the sideline. They try hard to hide the racism. Right. To me, that's all they doing. That's all that's happening, period, within the football spectrum, right? We know from college to the NFL, right? We see this. And the goal is to not appear racist. That's the goal. Like what's going on with Schumer and Caden and Staub, that's the same thing. Staub is Dylan. Caden is Shadur. I'm going to hold you back. I'm going to prove that you're not good. And I'm going to prop him up because you aren't worthy. And for Coach Prime to be aligning with or protecting someone like that, it's disturbing. Because what's happening to Caden, what's happening to Shadur at the hands of Stefanski is the same thing. And why are you protecting that? The answer gonna come. Because you can't say you want to run 200 yards because you just want to run 200 yards. You got to have the people to do that. And you clearly don't. So why are we trying to run 200 yards with a dual threat quarterback? Why go get the kid as a dual threat quarterback and try to force him in the pocket like Jeff Fisher tried to do to Vince Young in Tennessee? Like the Ravens try to do to Lamar Jackson. But Josh Allen can use his legs. I agree. Coach Prime do need to fire his OC. Yup. It said, if this is not a sign to start your own league, I don't know what else to say. I agree with that. If they want to be in the football business, they say football is a family business, they don't need to start their own league. I don't know what else to say. They always needed us. We never needed them. Facts. That's totally it. It said that QB saw the competitive chaos that was going on now at CU. What you mean by competitive chaos? I mean, that kid was at the game. We were talking about it, and I looked up the stats for Caden. He had 12 reps. And I said, Pat Schumer running that kid right off. And I said, we gonna keep in tabs with him. And then somebody put it on X yesterday. Damn, he went for the bag. He went to Texas Tech. I said, if that's the same kid that came to Colorado and Caden got 12 reps, that's why he didn't come to Colorado. See, people don't want to admit it. They want to say, oh, the other schools got money. No, you got Pat Schumer, who is showing you, if you come here, I'm going to give you 12 reps too. Why has he not been fired? Everybody knows that that's what the problem is. Coach Prime has denied that that's what the problem is. Why the hell is he acting like that's not the problem when it was a problem with Shedeur? See, you can't. That's why he losing the battle. Shedeur had to override Pat Schumer. So why should Caden not have to override Pat Schumer? Why strip Caden of what he needs to be like Shedeur? Why bring JuJu for Shedeur to hand the keys to JuJu? And JuJu don't even have a sleeve. I'm just saying. Like, people got to stop lying. Hold up. This got to stop lying. Because if it's not extortion, I don't know. It ain't making no sense to me. But if you lose JuJu because of Pat Schumer, and I think, so if you ask me, that's why he looked like that after JuJu touchdown. Was it caught on camera? That might have been the one in the comments. Because I was like, why did he look so sad after JuJu scored? And I think it was caught on camera said, because JuJu had already, the rumor is that JuJu has let CU know that either he not coming back or he plan on leaving. So Coach Prime, the look on his face was like, damn. I'm like, why you let this happen? It's like he feel like he had to let Pat Schumer. I'm like, is there a lawsuit somewhere? Is somebody being extorted? Somebody being kidnapped, holding them for ransom? Only Pat Schumer know where they are. You are letting this man destroy your recruiting. Whether it's the kids you were bringing in, you have lost a prospective quarterback. You are losing the quarterbacks you have. It's ruining Caden's opportunity, but the NFL is AZZ anyway, so, maybe that's God. Point is, you are letting Stefanski, same thing, Stefanski over in Colorado, by way of Pat Schumer, do exactly what's been happening to Shadur, whether it's JuJu, whether it's Caden, or Ponder. It's the same thing. And to protect it is gross. It's like you letting it all burn down. Well, just tell us that you're going to let it all burn down and we won't have no expectations. Just tell us, okay, there's nothing I can do about this. They want to let him run the show. Okay, but I don't know if it's they. If so, you better blink, because they hurting you unless you ready to go back to the ranch and retire. Everything is not because of them. It said, I have known Prime since 92. You have it all wrong. If you really watched him, you would know no one makes him do anything. Well, D Will, if you want to sit up there and have some kind of blind loyalty, that's on you, boo. And if you right, then that means Coach Prime making his own choices by allowing Pat Schumer to ruin the program and mess up these kids' opportunities. So pick. Either they forcing him to do it or he making a choice. But either way, he's either choosing not to hold Pat Schumer accountable or he's refusing to hold Pat Schumer accountable. Neither one of them is a good look. So you more worried about, I'm saying, they forcing him. I don't care how long you've been knowing Coach Prime. I really don't. Because that ain't got nothing to do with this conversation. This conversation is, why is it, after as poor as this program has been, it has never been this bad. From Jackson State to Trinity to Jackson State to here. It's never been this bad. So for him to allow it to fall apart, lose recruits on the ground in perspective, then you should know why he's allowing it, since you say ain't nobody forcing him. So come up with the answer and tell us why he's allowing Pat Schumer to destroy this program like Stefanski is destroying his son's career. Tell us the answer. Since you got all the answers since 92, tell us. Because name dropping don't help this conversation. I don't care how long you've been knowing the man. If you can't tell me why the hell it is he allowing Pat Schumer to destroy this goddamn program. I don't think he was allowed to hire the coordinators. That's what we starting to wonder. That's what we thinking. And I don't know how we got to that yesterday. I think we were talking about Jackson State. And I said, wait a minute. Because somebody said, oh, something about Coach Prime brought his Louis luggage. Ha ha. And I said, wait a minute. The kids were the Louis luggage because they gone. That's basically what I was saying, except for Mata. and Jeremiah Brown, I think, still with the team, but the majority of them are gone. And I said, who picked them coordinators? Right? Because we were talking about this previously. Who hired Pat Schumer? Because we were like, did they make Coach Prime? Because we know he came recommended from his good buddies, Zimmerman or whatever, that was with the Cowboys. So we know all of this is this whole NFL situation. And we kind of resigned ourselves as a community to think, oh, Coach Prime got duped into hiring Pat Schumer because he came recommended by his good buddy from Dallas. And I pointed out the fact that all of those guys, Zimmer, Schumer, all of them were coaches. Coach Prime is a player. And from what I can see of the NFL, they don't include him on their level with them. And the next thing you know, we got the NFL taking out Colorado, the players, hell, Coach Prime, and now Pat Schumer doing it. And it's the same thing happening to Shadur at the hands of Stefanski. So it's like the NFL's got their hands in the Colorado by way of Coach Prime bringing in Pat Schumer, who was recommended by Zimmerman. And all those are his friends. So I was wondering, is he not willing to hold Pat Schumer accountable because he knows a lot of people, or he don't want to admit that maybe he been set up, or he don't want to ask his friend, why you tell me? I don't know. I know it's weird. I know I said myself, I'm shocked that he would allow this program to go to trash like this, to constantly say it's the players when we adults with intellect can see the play calling is elementary as hell. It's basic on offense and defense. But he let us know whether he wanted to or not, how he felt about the defense and the coordinator. But it seemed like he's covering or protecting and not willing to hold accountable Pat Schumer. And the question is why? Why can Dot get it, but Schumer can't? Rick George wanted Coach Prime. Yeah, but we don't know why. It said, I absolutely believe they wanted to interrupt the HBCU Renaissance. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. Because when you think about it, if he couldn't bring over his OC in DC from Jackson State, how can you say you want me to come help your program win, but I got to use two random coordinators? That don't make no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. And if I'd have known that back then, I'd have been like, don't do that. They don't want you. They want you to stop doing what you're doing over there and bring it over here. Because how is it that after he wins and go 3-0, and I told y'all this before, when the rest was cheating Colorado big time bad, I said it. I said, them regents over there at CU ought to be screaming down the NCAA neck with accountability. Did they know? This game, they had 110 penalties for this game, 110 yards worth of penalties. It was a lot. And even if you get tired of people bullying you, that's cool. Don't come back next year. But you can't let the program go to hell because of the kids. They work too hard to get here. And you're not going to convince these kids they are the problem when they see you got an issue with Doc, but you don't have an issue with Pat, and Pat is the problem. And Shadur was here last year. I'm telling you, it's something. It's something. There's a reason. And it ain't making no sense. I can see Shadur wasn't there last year, but he was. Prime needs all new college coaches. I don't know if that's enough. K-Salt is more like Dylan. Y'all crazy. It says, so CP had to coach with both of his hands tied since he couldn't hire his own OC in DC. That's what we thinking. And it leads us to believe, that they didn't really want him to come to see you and win. How many times he been sabotaged? 3. How many years he been there? 3. And they can't do nothing about the refs. He can't do nothing about Pat Schumer. He can't do nothing about, they pay Doc handsomely before they pay Coach Prime. I told y'all that was savage and not in a good way. I told y'all that was dirty. That's what I said. I said it was dirty. I said, that's dirty. Yeah, it's dirty. He brought them in. How you going to pay them before you pay him? Because I'm going to boot you out. And we don't know definitively, but we do know that being forced to use two random OCs is how you get an OC and a DC, is how you got in a situation where they could get close enough to you to take you down. And then Pat Schumer doing the same thing. He ain't even got to give them the plays. He just got to give them a head start, because that's what he did in this game. Or I'm going to show you what it is that we doing, because I'm just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. We talked about Sean Lewis doing the same thing. They said it. Sean Lewis is calling the same plays over and over and over. Even that UCLA coach, who might be in Vegas somewhere, told Shadur after UCLA, they said the O-line is allowing my defense to tee off on Shadur. It's the same thing. Sabotage. That's what I say. 3 years in a row. And the only reason it didn't happen last year, or it did to a certain extent, is because Shadur decided the hell with that. But he paying for it dearly. And he paying for it with his back, number one. And he paying for it in the NFL. So for him to end up where Stefanski is, and to take that out on Shadur because of Schumer and this, that, and the other. Yeah. I'm just mad that Kevin Stefanski allowed them to change his QB style and try to make him a pocket passer, knowing he's a dual threat. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about, that boy? You talking about, Caden Salter? You mad that Caden Salter allowed? Yeah, now see, that's a lesson for Caden. That's a lesson for Caden, because, and I said that. I said, okay. I said, you got a lot of people thinking that what happened to Shadur in the draft was just about Shadur. Now they all finding out. Thomas Castellanos, Lenore Sellers, and y'all know what I said about his father should have took that money, and this is why. And if I could see it last year, you should have saw it too, right? Just like Caden. Caden knew Malik Willis, and I think he kind of aligned more with Malik Willis, and I think Shadur aligned more with JuJu. And I don't know, but Coach Prime brought in Caden, and I think Shadur felt like it should have been JuJu. I think JuJu parents probably felt like, well, I thought it was going to be JuJu. So again, that was a mess from the beginning. But I also felt like on the ground, it was too many people yapping and talking, too many cooks in the kitchen. I said the cameras were prejudicial. They were kind of like, yeah, let's go with stop. I'm like, well, damn, if Coach Prime, I said it. I defended Coach Prime. I said, if Coach Prime said it's Caden and JuJu, then that's who it is. But then they forced him to change his mind. That Thursday before that game, when U of H, they forced him to change their mind. And U of H went on to become undefeated until after that, right? So stop look horrible out there. Just like Dylan looked horrible out there. And I'm like, Stefanski, Schumer, they know what he's doing. They both know what they're doing. Stefanski said it. Dylan, yeah, I had to think about that. Because he know he's not good. But they get such pleasure in holding Shadur back. They don't care. Caden is Shadur. 73% passer rating. That's Shadur. Look at his passer rating when he left Colorado. Wasn't it 74%? All right, then. And if Coach Prime got him, I trusted it. And I understood he wanted to put Caden in to give JuJu some time. I'm like, okay. And we talked about this. Colorado having a 2-quarterback system. We didn't know the second quarterback was going to be stopped. And I don't know why Coach Prime allowing that. That's something else that you should have put your foot down behind. Because the first time he pivoted away, after he scoffed at them people and they asked him about, before Georgia Tech, who the quarterback was going to be, he said, Caden, I don't know why you're asking me that. And I hope that JuJu can get in. He didn't say nothing about Staub. And it seemed like ever since then, they was working him. So what did Pat Schumer do? Go up in the booth and throw the game and gift wrapped it for Brent Key, and Brent Key noticed. And what did they make Coach Prime do? Bend to their will. So for whoever been knowing Coach Prime since 92, boo, they already got him. He said he knew Staub wasn't the guy. He said he would have wrote a letter of recommendation for Staub to transfer. He didn't know why he didn't transfer. It makes sense now. It don't make sense that he even taking up space for a scholarship. He should be on the scout team. If that. He's not good. He don't even have no aspirations. They got that kid on there because they probably told him after they fired the other black coach. See, people didn't know. That coach that got fired, that was 1-11, he got fired mid-year, and he was black. I had no idea. So they kept Staub around. And after Shadur, we gonna get you in there. Why? He's not good. It's just like Dylan. You could have went and got Quinn Ewers. And you could have had a real competition between Quinn Ewers and Shadur. But you went and got somebody that can't keep up with Shadur at all. And you gonna prop him up and you gonna cause the season to be a loss because you want to show Shadur who's in control. Why not use somebody that's good? That's what, you know why? Because Dylan went to the Manning Passing Academy. Maybe if Staub end up over there, and he might, he gonna end up in the NFL with a contract too, and he probably gonna play before Shadur. Not that Shadur is not good, but they hell bent on not letting him play. It's gonna take Jesus the Almighty to come down here and fix that. They're not finna just have a change of heart. One, is too many of them. And God don't force his love on nobody. He just don't leave his people nowhere where they're not appreciated. But Shadur got to be ready to move on like Shiloh had to move on. I don't think Shadur was in that place just yet. We'll see though. It said, I think they said because of his limited experience, they wanted to make sure he had good coordinators. Interesting. You talking about because of who's limited experience? You talking about Coach Prime limited experience? Then how you gonna come get me talking about I have limited experience, but I want you to come coach over here because of what you did over there? Well, if I did it with my limited experience, then why the hell are you telling me what to do? So they can control the situation. And that's what they're doing. They themselves could fire Schumer. Look, Coach Prime, Booster should be all over if they cared. But they guy ain't the guy, so they don't care. But let's see if Coach Prime get to keep his job and Staub become QB1. And I told y'all, I said they want Staub to be the guy next year. He ain't good. So that means Coach Prime will have another losing year? Yeah. I said this. I said, this is to run off JuJu. And what is it doing? Running off JuJu. Just like you ran off that other kid. That you're not going to tell me, no matter how long you've been knowing Coach Prime, that it makes sense for Staub to be QB2 after his performances and after Coach Prime said, I go to practice every day. I see what he can do. I told him I would give him a letter for him to move on. And now, who's QB2 and who on his way out the door, seemingly? The only way he's going to keep his job is if he go with whoever they want him to go with. Just like Mike Tomlin. It said the bottom line is CP should have stayed in the HBCU system. I'm starting to think that was the case. Yep, that boy Wig Staub with 0-2 for 2 interceptions, just like that, lickety split. And that's who they want to be QB1 next year. The fact that they were trying to put Staub, who's a sophomore, and I said it, I'm like, he ain't even going nowhere. Why he got to get out here now? Because it didn't make no sense. Because they was trying to hurt Caden opportunity. Because it was said if Caden comes to see you and balls out, then he gonna increase his draft stock. He would have went from number 15, the 15th quarterback, to maybe like number 10. Pat Schumer messed that up. He messed it up for the kid that just signed with Texas Tech, and he messed it up with JuJu. And y'all tell me that Coach Prime can't see that. It said all that hold me accountable BS made me mad. Like, what do you mean? Don't come at the coaches. It said that's a part of football. It said just like you get cheers when you're successful, you get now, partner. Now. See, Pete, that's what's wrong with people right now. That's what's wrong with people. We can be fans of Coach Prime and be honest at the same time. Hell, the recruits being honest. The kids gonna be honest when they get in the portal. And then y'all gonna be hating on the kids. Hell no, this ain't on these kids. It ain't on the kid that went to Tech. It ain't on Cater because he gonna go somewhere and be successful. JuJu gonna go somewhere and be successful. This on Coach Prime because this is his program. How can we blame Stefanski, who's a head coach, but not blame Coach Prime, who's a head coach? We've all said it. You could tell Cleveland is what's implemented over here, and that don't make no sense. Especially for what Shadur had to endure at the hands of Pat Schumer. Why would anybody promise him anything? Especially after he said Shadur was like failing 6 years, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones would get an opportunity after failing 2 NFL lifetimes. But Shadur can't even get out here and play. Because just like Colorado seemingly came and got Coach Prime from Jackson State to disrupt what was going on at HBCUs, not just views, but with the students starting to go to these black schools to play football, because that's what was happening. It's no different than hoarding Shedur's talent on the bench in Cleveland or in the NFL so he can't go somewhere else and be successful. It's the same thing. I'm holding you back, I'm trapping you over here because I can manipulate you over here. I can't control you at Jackson State. That was already in their minds. They saw what was coming. And kids was like, yeah, I want to go to Jackson State. What did Shiloh say when he met with Edward Waters? What did he tell the host? He said the reality why I really like Jackson State, he said, hell, the HBCU women. Them black kids, some of them really want that. They really want that opportunity. But they do what they got to do. Just like Dylan Gabriel. Yep, Dollar General. Same thing. Who started the next game for CU? Some people say it should be JuJu. But if JuJu is supposedly leaving, I don't know if that's smart, especially if Pat Schumer calling the plays. It's that, it said when CP talks like that, it reminds me of who you talking about, Pamela? I wouldn't pay Stefanski $1 at all. At all. And he one of the lowest paid coaches. I'm like, damn, that tell you that they using him to be a servant leader. They don't care if they win or lose. Not right now. No time soon. They'll care about it in 2029. Now, that's one thing their fans can agree on. The Browns don't care about nothing till 2029. I said, and wait till the stadium open. If you think they don't care now, they ain't going to care then at all. Ask the Dallas fans. Did the Cowboys win today or were they off today? I didn't even really watch football. I looked to see if Jimmy Horn Jr. Got in. He did, limited, but he was there. So that's it. Can CU win any of the 3 games they have left at this point? If Pat Schumer calling the plays, no, because he ain't going to let it happen. I've been saying that. It said, right, call it what it is. Workplace discrimination. Right. Talking about Stefanski don't like Shadur. That's a personal problem. Don't nobody care about that. We do care about workplace discrimination because it's not only affecting Shadur. And as white people have pointed out in Cleveland, Stefanski has an issue with black quarterbacks. Yeah. Took his headset off and handed it to somebody else to call the plays after Deshaun got injured. That's criminal. That's criminal. Jerry Jones would hire Coach Prime. He wouldn't even draft Shadur. Why would he hire Coach Prime? I mean, he might. I don't know. Jerry Jones don't care about winning right now. So maybe if he cared about winning, maybe. Yes, when CP left JSU, everyone told HBCU fans that we were hating because he was not going to get a bag and we didn't have it. I don't see. I was one of those people that felt like, look, if the man want to leave and there's some stuff happening at HBCU, I get it. Because I went to HBCU. I know how things can go sometimes. And based on what they were saying, what was happening, and what people don't even realize is JSU played a part in their own demise with their president that they fired after the fact. They let him make a decision, which I know he was pushed up to offer Coach Prime only $1 million at the 11th hour, like he wasn't valuable, and that he was going to have to pay his coaches out of that. Who does that? No school out here does that. There's not one school out here that will pay a coach $1 million at the last minute if you want them to stay. They played a part in their own demise. And by January, they had voted that man out. He had already done what the state wanted him to do. So it wasn't just seemingly Colorado working to that end. It was other people who controlled the purse strings and the puppet strings at HBCUs, namely Jackson State, the state of Mississippi. Because they should have wanted Coach Prime to stay. But they didn't because they likely support Ole Miss. Must be the money. It said, I believe there's a connection between the players who aren't talented, the coaches in the NFL, and the agents. It said they must be sharing the money, pay to play. Could be. But there's definitely a connection. And don't forget the Mannings belong to that. It said, oh, yes, I think Jerry put the offer out there, CP, before he got that Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about that. That was just leverage. That was just that was just leverage. And I'm not saying it ain't gonna happen. Jerry Jones will have to have a change of heart. And don't forget the 32 NFL owners are ancestrously close. If I didn't want Shadur, then and I used Coach Prime and I scapegoated Coach Prime to hurt Shadur and Shiloh and the CU program. I don't why would I want him coaching for me? I clearly don't want his football legacy to live on because I want to elevate the Manning's legacy. That's why when we talk about Daryl Colbert Jr., I said, damn, you would think some NFL team will hire him because he real good, right? And then you look at all of the players who he coached, a lot of the black quarterbacks that he coached up, they're actually really good. And most of them been cheated. Shadur, the kid from Wake Forest, Cam to been sacked 35 times. I didn't even count today's game. I don't even know what today's game brought. All of his players have been cheated. Robbie Ashford or something like that at Wake Forest. All of his players have been cheated. Every last one of them. But the Manning Passing Academy alums, they get to make it. Dylan is Manning Passing Academy alum. Eli Manning's son was dressed as Jackson Dart, also Manning Passing Academy. Tyler Shaw, Manning Passing Academy. So they're not just holding Shadur back. They're not just holding Coach Prime back. They holding back Daryl Colbert Jr. as good as he is with his quarterbacks and every last one of his quarterbacks back because they don't want that black part of the success. They believe they need black athleticism at certain positions, but they don't want it in leadership. They don't want it at quarterback, and they don't want it with the coaching of the quarterbacks. There are no black OCs, and it's probably zero black quarterback coaches. They don't want him, Colbert Jr., to be successful. They don't want none of his quarterbacks to be successful. They want to upend what he doing. And they could hire him and put him on a staff, but he black, so I don't want that. So I'd rather just smother what you got going on by everybody seeing that your quarterbacks make it to the league and they not good. So it ain't just about Shadur. And if I don't think Jerry Jones care about winning right now, so he just did that because they were friends. Now, what happened to that friendship? Valid point. Before, when they was talking about Coach Prime going to Dallas, what happened to that friendship? That's a valid point. What happened to that friendship? Because when Jerry Jones went and drafted Joe Milton, and Joe was a 6th-round pick, Shadur was a 5th-round pick, practically got the same contract. It was to block Shadur. Because you know what he said? I think it was Skip that was like, Jerry Jones didn't get Shadur for only $4 million. I don't need a quarterback. That's what everybody said. That's the same thing 32 owners did to Lamar Jackson when he came in free agency. When he was available in free agency, nobody needed an MVP quarterback. So I don't see that happening either. They might keep him over there again next year, but he gonna be like Mike Tomlin. He had 3 black quarterbacks. He ain't gonna have none. Deion needs to fire Schumer. Facts. People who are intellects that know football know that that's the problem. People who are emotional want to say it's Caden. That boy got a 73% passer rating. I'm still trying to figure out why he took him out the game. I ain't watching, so I don't know. But he ended with a 73%. That ain't bad at all because Shadur had 74 when he graduated. And JuJu left that game with 53%. That's not good. That's not good at all. He shouldn't have ever. And matter of fact, it would surprise me if somebody done been told, don't put him back out here. Every time they put him, that kid, in a game, and I heard Coach Prime said, I have to protect that kid. Yeah, you do. From Pat Schumer. But I don't think he did. 53% passer rating, and he got to hop in the portal, and they already were coming at him with that Delaware game. When Rick leaves, Coach Prime is cooked. Yep. Shit, I think he cooked now. It's cooked now, you know. It said Kevin is like the people on the Shedeur Sanders. Oh, on the videos, the hatred. Yep. It said, what are you talking about? It said Juju was only 17 when he came to see you. Coach Prime is doing just what you need to catch up. See, it's funny how people who don't keep up with these conversations get in their feelings about things that we say, right? Juju came out of school classified a year early. Do you really think he came out of school a year early to sit a year behind Ryan Staub? I told y'all that that's what they were trying to do. And who got in the game when they took Caden out? Ryan Staub. For what? He ain't QB2. Coach Prime said he was QB3, and some people said Ponder was better than him. So for those people, if y'all in y'all emotions, just we over here talking facts right now. And if Coach Prime can be heard saying that he don't know what Juju's parents have decided for Juju, Coach Prime ain't part of the decision. There's already a decision, and they ain't gonna tell him what it is. Because they don't trust him. That's why. So if you're in your feelings, just be in your feelings. But shh. Rick George was on the elevator with Shadur. Oh, really? Okay, I didn't see that part. Juju gonna be good wherever he plays next year, right? And if that kid decides to transfer out, I don't want to hear no slander. It said, did you see how Coach Prime's office looks? I saw that office. It looked like a lot of clutter. It looked like a lot of clutter. I don't know what was going on though, but yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to think his office at Jackson State. I don't remember it too much. But I did notice that it stood out. I think that's all those shoes. Isn't that just like his shoes and stuff over there? He keeps those shoes over there. Juju needs a good football program to develop. Yeah, I don't think the quarterbacks are being developed. Well, some people say the linebackers can't tackle, so they wanted the lower level coaches fired. I'm like, the defensive schemes are basic. The offensive scheme is elementary. And when you put the two of them together on the same team, that's how you got the last two games where we get routed before halftime. And the other three games not going to be no different. It's intentional. It's intentional. You know, Ray Lewis came in and said the players were playing like individuals. I'm like, and the coordinators coaching like they working for somebody else. But nobody won't talk about that. So yeah, if Rick George gone, yeah. And again, I'm not convinced that they brought Coach Prime in to be long-term at all, because it seems like when they went to get Mel Tucker, after they had two black coaches before Mel Tucker. So they get Mel Tucker, he come in and he was having a losing season, and then suddenly he gets whisked away by Michigan, but this was after CU gave him like a 8-year contract, and then it was like, no, we made a mistake. And they rescinded that one and gave him like a 6 or 5 year. Then the season started and things was going south, just like with the other two black coaches. And one of those other coaches went 4-8. And he got the call from Michigan State. He goes over there and he gets set up. Coach Prime is the fourth black coach, and he in the same situation as the other three black coaches. He didn't leave because nobody called him and asked him to go work nowhere. Sometimes when they come and get you, it's not so you can help them. It be to pull you away from what it is you got going on. And the first guy that they hired, that was the coach, people were upset. They only gave him 2 years, and he was alum. You see how they firing these coaches? Yeah, he got to fire him. And again, I don't even know how he got there. I don't even know how he got there. The OC is the QB coach. Most players have their own coach outside of the program. Most players? Yeah, but should it be like that though? Like, you can have your own, but isn't the program supposed to develop you? The DC coaches were threatening each other 2 weeks ago. Oh, I'm sure it's a lot of frustration around there. If Prime leaves, I will throw away my CU hoodies and jacket. Don't throw it away. Just donate it to Goodwill. I wouldn't throw it in the trash. Just sell it on one of them apps. I'm like that. We all gonna have that problem. Believe me. We all gonna have that problem. We all gonna have that problem. It said I thought the photo he had was of Schumer, but they said it was of Rick George. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Miss Pamela is telling us that she thought that there was a photo in Coach Prime's office of Pat Schumer and Coach Prime. Turns out the photo was of Rick George and Coach Prime. Okay, that makes sense. JuJu's dad understands his post. It said, season of rebuilding, lost 8 starters. Yeah, I don't know. So you think it's rebuilding. Schumer, same coach he was last year. Yeah. And that's what I mean, right? If he's the same coach he was last year, and Shadur had to overcome that, what the hell were we expecting to happen this year? For Caden to be Shadur with no sleeve? How you gonna do that? You actually rendered him incapable of calling his own plays that y'all agreed upon because he don't have no sleeve. Because y'all didn't agree upon nothing. It just seems like Coach Prime gave Pat Schumer ultimate supreme control after what? After what? Because we know what happened with Shadur, right? We know Shadur had to call his own plays. We know the NFL talked about that. So when did Coach Prime decide to give Pat Schumer free reign? So much so that Coach Prime would go along with trying to get 200 yards on the ground, something that ain't never happened at CU. That ain't gonna never happen at CU. Not the way they play football. You didn't bring JuJu in as a pocket passer, a little Shadur, to go 200 yards on the ground. You ain't even set up for that. You don't even recruit for that. So why did he give him free reign? After this man said, Shadur was like, Daniel Jones, when did we get to the part where I'm gonna let you run it? Is it because he was out for the summer? Because he had to deal with the personal. Okay, but you came back, right? I'm just saying, there's a book out there. Somebody gonna tell it. Because it ain't making no sense. CP has his mom at his side. It's sad to watch. Why is it sad to watch? It's that the family must have told Shadur to come see his dad. I just think, Shadur wanted to probably just go there anyway because he needed to get the hell out of Cleveland. HBCUs mess over a lot of money. Believe it or not, a lot of schools mess over a lot of money. You just know about HBCUs because they just gonna tell you about it. They all the same. They all the damn same. Every last one of them. They all a business. And they hire their friends and they hire their alum and it's a cushy job and that's it. That's it. That's all it is. It said, remember, hey Barbara, how you doing? It said, remember he came in talking about who needs to enter the portal because he brought his own luggage. You think those rich alumni was happy about having to cough up money for college tuition? Oh, you talking about when Coach Prime first got there? My problem is, how did you bring your Louis luggage that were players, but you didn't bring your Louis luggage of coaches? And how could they even be okay with that? Because they came and got you supposedly because you turned around a dormant program. Well, you did it with those coaches and they didn't let you bring those coaches. Oh, they could come work for us because they over there. And Thurman was over there. Bertolone is still over there, but they can't be the OC and the DC. Then why did you go? That should have been a no. You should have said, okay, well, wait, if you want me to come and they my coaches, then you want me, them, all of us, right? That don't make no sense. And to be honest with you, when you look at that, they didn't, if they didn't want you to bring the coaches that helped you win the Celebration Bowl and the SWAC championships, what did I want you to do? Stop doing what you was doing over there. Bring Travis over here. Bring them other players over here. Bring all that over here. But did he look at how the other Black head coaches were treated? Especially their alum. Them chickens coming home to roost right now. Because Coach Prime ain't alum. And the NFL has already turned their back. So what did I really come and get you for? Because all he gonna walk away with is his reputation for coaching is trashed. He gonna get an opportunity somewhere. But believe me, a lot of them gonna stand around and be like, no. I'm just saying the writing was on the wall. That you black, look at what they did to these other black coaches. They only each of them only got 2 years. And one of them was alum. One of them went 4-8. You come over here, go 3-0, and they instantly set you up to take you down to 4-8. And they tried you last year, but Shadur. But they got you this year because no Shadur. I don't think it was worth it, guys. I think it's the lesson. Thurman was the DC. Yep, he was at they said Thurman left Jackson State and came to Colorado, but they offered him a different position, just like Brett Bertolone. He's just so happened to stick in there. But to me, I don't know why he couldn't be the OC. It don't make no, you can't say I want Prime to come from Jackson State and bring his winning ways and leave the coaches behind, but bring the players. That was an insinuation that Coach Prime himself and those players is what got it done, and that the OC and the DC are interchangeable. Coach Prime has had problems with his OC and DC from the moment he got to Colorado after they went 3-0. No, Shiloh came last week. Shadur came on his bye week. Oh, you know who else was there? We forgot to talk about him too. Cameron Silver Craig was there. He cut his hair. He looks great. I guess they were on a. Wait a minute. Don't he play for the Jags? The Jags played today. So what's going on with that? Does anybody know why Cameron Silver Craig, who played for the Jags, was in Colorado and the Jags played today? He's on the practice squad. Maybe they don't travel with the team. Does that have something to do with it? Let me know. Maybe that's what it is. I just thought about that. I was thinking it was the Panthers, but he plays for the Jags. It said, I hope CP isn't tripping off the young female. I don't know why y'all think this is a woman issue. Why y'all think him dating somebody got anything to do with this? He dated a woman at Jackson State. He dated a woman in year 1. What did he date Miss Tracy in year 1? Why y'all think that got something to do with it? Tell me why y'all think that got something to do with it. Didn't Shedeur say something about that in the hospital? Like ever since she been coming around, things been going bad. I mean, honestly, they've been going bad since year 1. Let me know. Okay, Camille, we appreciate you hanging out with us, but we're gonna have to let you send you on your way. All right. It said, look how many teams never win a championship or make the playoff, yet the owners, for the most part, are billionaires. So losing isn't a big deal. No, because they make money from the TV rights. Each owner this year got a check for $452 million from TV deals. Same thing with the NBA. They don't care about them seats being empty. Schumer nor Stefanski know what the hell they doing. They not incompetent though. It said Flowers say he needs to retire. I ain't gonna say he needs to retire. I'm saying they doing him dirty. He did lose confidence because his players were punished because of their association with him. So Barbara is saying because the way the draft went and the players were shunned, right? Because Coach Prime is the coach at Colorado, that he lost his confidence after that. He don't talk like it. He don't talk like it. I would have believed that the cancer changed his perspective, but no, I don't think that either. I don't think it got nothing to do with being in a relationship. I think it's good for him to be in a relationship because he being done dirty. And when somebody doing you dirty and bullying you, you don't need to be isolated by yourself like that, especially after dealing with cancer, because your body can't handle all that stress anyway. So we just at the point trying to figure out why it is after all that Schumer has done last year, this year, saying Shadur was like Daniel Jones, all these things. Why it looked like Schumer got the baton and he the boss. What the offense is concerned. Doreen said, Coach Prime just be looking on and doing nothing. He is not in charge, not involved. He has given up because he's powerless. So you think he's powerless, Doreen? Already? I think he will be next year for sure. I don't know. I feel like it's still a choice. It says Shedeur said he sees no alphas on the team stepping up. I don't even know if I would have weighed in on that right now because they could see a lot of things too. You got to be careful how you the situation you in and what you say about other people. If he say he don't see no alphas, he talking about Jordan Seaton neither. You see? You see? That ain't the way. With Tracy, it was like a marriage of 10 years. Steady, trustworthy, a grown, classy woman by Coach Prime's side. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Bucky asked Shadur what is missing on the team. He said lack of leaders. So Jordan Seaton not a leader? I don't think the lady got nothing to do with it. They ain't even in the same place half the week. So I don't think that got nothing to do with it. Players have adopted to the plan of coaches. It said players have to adjust to the plan of coaches. It said no matter who's calling the plays. That's not the point. The point is you can adjust to plays if they're effective, but asking a whole team to play basic elementary high school when you were recruited, these players didn't get picked up at the bus stop like they was hungry and needy. They went to these players' homes and got them, and they promised them some level of competitiveness, and that don't exist. So I'm not mad at the players. Not mad at all. People said it last week. The players already checked out. I said we see things from over here. They feeling it because they on the ground. And now y'all saying Shadur coming in talking about he don't see no leaders. What about Jordan Seaton? What about Taufik Bayard? Where the leaders in the dog patches at? Like, stop with all that. Like, stop with all these external things happening here when you don't want to deal with who the hell it is. That's the problem. Nobody is coming to see you to change Pat Schumer's play calling. Nobody. And you're not going to convince nobody that they should be Shadur when Shadur paying for it with his career in the NFL. I do think Jordan Seaton is a leader. I do think Taufik Bayard is a leader. I think Jeremiah Brown is a leader. I think there are some leaders on the teams. I don't think the coordinators and the coaches are doing their jobs by identifying the talent and putting them in place. I think the politics is at the top and is suffering and stifling the team because Coach Prime is protecting Pat Schumer. Because if that's not what it is, then please tell me, what do you call it when you refuse to fire the offense for calling Mickey Mouse plays? And you still aligning with him. And you said Ryan Staub was a third string at best, and you would have wrote him a letter to leave. But now it is he in front of your 5-star who getting ready to walk out the door, just like the little kid that came onto campus and saw Caden get 12 reps. At what point do you realize you are self-inflicting your own wounds by allowing Pat Schumer to have the control he didn't have when Shadur was there? That ain't gonna fix nothing. That's the past. Because that's the problem. And Shadur paying greatly for that. So it said Colorado was about to go to the Mountain West. Oh, really? And they went to the Big 12 instead? It said, yes, Coach Prime said it's all on him during the press conference, that he's the only one to blame. Nah, that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out because you're saying put it on me to avoid holding Schumer accountable. That's how you get fired. You can't just keep saying it's me, it's me, it's me. You ain't calling the plays because you ain't even got the headset by your face. So we know it ain't you. We know you're covering. We know you're not covering for Doc because you chased him up the field. So we got that. We got that. But you have never had this kind of outburst. You have never had any type of energy to even signal that you're willing to hold Pat Schumer accountable. Instead, after all the negativity that Pat has done towards Shadur and what Shadur had to do so he could go 9-4, Just look like Pat Schumer got a gift under the tree for whatever holiday he celebrate. That said, oh, you could do what you want to do because when Shadur was here, I let him do this, that, and the other, and I shouldn't have did that. So you go ahead, ruin these other kids' careers. Get mad if you want to. He not holding Pat Schumer accountable. He can't say it's on me and allow Pat Schumer to lose these last 3 games because Pat Schumer contract runs out. Yours might run out too. The way they firing these coaches, hell, ain't nobody safe. And I think that's the point. We're not talking about the coaches. We talking about the coordinators, U-turn. We talking about when he got to Colorado, why didn't he bring over the winning OC and DC from Jackson State? That's what we're talking about. Yeah, we don't know who. That's the thing. We don't know who hired those OCs. I think it's just weird. Travis is a target, and it makes no sense to be an acrobat and risk your career over one play. Look at Bo Jackson, Daryl Stingley, who one bad hit, he was paralyzed for life. Yeah, that's true. Because I said he was going to end up getting hurt. They said JuJu still need to learn discipline and will guarantee that he will play. Nope. That kid did not graduate early to sit behind Ryan Staub because the fact that Ryan Staub is already QB2 and he is not. He shouldn't even be on the team. The fact that they got to give him a scholarship, the fact that they got to put him in line to succeed after Caden Salter leaves is insane because they know it's going to push JuJu out. That situation right there is why I don't want to hear no slander behind that kid leaving because we just found out Staub was QB2. He already knew. And that ain't what Coach Prime agreed to when JuJu got there. Again, why is he letting Pat Schumer's selections thrive when they not good, Dylan? I think people just don't want to see him get done dirty. Right. They don't. They don't want to see him get done dirty. I mean, hell, I don't want to see it either, but you can't contribute to it. And people don't want to see. We already know what's going to happen. Let's say he end up like the rest of these coaches out here, right? And they already know what they're going to do, which is why you don't see the OC. Why you don't see, was it Rick George, who y'all say contract is up? Why you don't see him? Because what he got to do with it, because he leaving. And I reminded y'all they overpaid Doc before they paid Coach Prime at all. And Schumer out here doing whatever he want to do, and Doc laughing while Coach Prime chase him up the field, up the sideline. If it happened, that's when everything we've been saying, we're gonna have nothing else to say. We ain't gonna have nothing else to say because we already said it. But the people that's mad at us for saying it, you know what they're gonna be like? Oh, they doing Coach Prime dirty. That's what we was telling you. We was actually telling you why it was happening because maybe you could have led your voice to the cause and call it out. But no, you want to get mad and emotional this way. Nope. Don't work like that. It said they love having proximity to Coach Prime's greatness. They don't love Coach Prime, and now he knows the way he and his sons got abused. That's facts. Now, that's a real statement right there. Shout out to B. Thomas. That is, because that's exactly what happened in the draft. The message is, you don't belong. They just wanted to make money off of him because he was entertaining on TV after his career. Something most of them don't even get the chance to do. You got to be picked to do those things. And look at how the guys who are on these desks right now, the black guys, sell out. I don't know. I didn't watch Coach Prime when he was on the desk. But, from what I can see, you can't speak your mind and you have to go with the agenda, right? He was on a football show. I don't think he was on like the ESPNs. But for the guys that's like on the ESPNs, a year behind Ryan Staub. Yeah, that's crazy to come out of school and be behind Ryan Staub. That's insane. Carucci is not that man's handler. Why do y'all keep blaming that woman? His office is usually pretty clean. I didn't think it was dirty. I just think his shoes was everywhere. Those sneakers were sent to Coach Prime. Yeah, that's what it is, guys. I don't think it's his shoes. I think it's that the sneakers are like, taking over the floor because it's a lot of them. That's what I think it is. That lets you know they are not people he has a relationship with. Right. And that's part of the message, right? Part of the message is that when it came to the NFL, you don't belong. You just worked here. And now at CU, I mean, honestly, he could be a really good coach. What he did at Jackson State, he could have come to the Power Five to do it. But that's the people that invited him over, or the people that actually let him get bullied in year one. The people that invited him over are the people that's allowing Schumer to take down this program. Now, if they don't fire Prime, it's crazy because they could easily say, well, you let him do it. You hired him, and now you letting him ruin it. That's why I can't tell you if he's going to be here next year or not. From what I can see, Colorado is sitting by silently while the OC and the DC tear down the program and seeming like they want to go back to 1-11. They don't care. And they fired their last coach mid-season. I had no idea that man was black. The only person they seem to care about is pushing Staub up the ladder. And he already said that ain't where he wanted to be. So it's just kind of weird. The scout team. Oh, Cam is on the practice squad. So when you're on the practice squad, you can travel, do your own thing. Maybe that's why some people like being on the practice squad, because they just play a football game every day for the job, to practice against the players. And then on the weekends, when the team is somewhere else, seeming like you have the freedom to move around. There was a player for the 49ers, I think. It was a white player for some team. They wanted him to be on the 53-man roster. He said, no, put me on the practice squad. The benefits must be better. So if he on a practice squad, he good. Okay. I love Cam. He's a good player. Yeah, he a dog. He really is. Him and Bayard. I think, matter of fact, I heard Coach Prime say that, but I think Cam reached out to Bayard. Yeah. And I think y'all said Bayard got penalized, so he gonna miss the first half of the West Virginia game. I'm like, oh geez. Yeah, I don't think he lost confidence. I don't think this that either. No change, no power. That could be what it means. Doreen. That could be what it is. Max said Coach Prime got power. Well, Mac, if he using it, explain it. Explain why Pat Schumer hasn't been replaced. I'm waiting on you. Hopefully you still in there. Why hadn't Pat Schumer been replaced when we know he the problem? Seaton may be the only leader. I think Taufik Bayard is the leader. I think he's the leader on defense. Maybe we keep overlooking the defense. But yeah, I agree. Seaton is the leader on offense, but I think Taufik Bayard is the leader on defense. Shedeur is right there. No dog stepping up. Nah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because Taufik Bayard has stepped up. This man actually got an interception with a cast on. See, that's what's wrong right now. It's like we could plainly see that Travis was a leader on defense, or Cameron Silma Craig, or who was it on offense, Shadur, or Travis, or whatever. But this year, it's staring us right in the face. Jordan Seaton is clearly a leader on offense. He's clearly frustrated. He ended up with penalties that he don't normally get. Now, Taufik Bayard got a penalty that he don't normally get because he out here trying to make something happen. Taufik Bayard is a leader on defense. Jeremiah Brown has stepped up. So that's not true. And when you let people who are on the outside of the program come back and say these things, when the kids are just barely hanging on because you got an OC and a DC who trying to route the coach, it don't make things better to have people saying things like that. It don't. That's not gonna make those kids, because Shadur said it, step up. Just like it didn't make a bit of difference with Ray Lewis coming in and telling them they playing as individuals. What the hell are the coaches playing as? Not the coaches, the coordinators. Nobody's holding them accountable. So they high-fiving each other after each game. And after it's all said and done, then people gonna be mad. All right, then. I think he meant by multiple leaders in each group. Yeah, maybe because they do have leaders. I'm sorry. They do have leaders. It says Seaton is the closest and Miller. It said, and that dude played defensive back. I think, are you talking about Bayard, Mac? Is that who you're talking about? Coordinators are extremely bad. Thank you, Rise Academy. Thank you. And people are now saying Doc gotta go too. They're now saying both of them have to go, just like Florida State. Florida State had to get rid of both of their coaches. Had to get rid of their OC and their DC. If Coach Prime says there are no leaders, then he's talking about himself. Maybe. It said they definitely some Kevin type stuff to put Staub in front of JuJu. Yeah. See how nobody want to address that? Nobody wants to address that. And if JuJu really leaving, and I get the feeling that he might, because I'm like, why the hell is this happening? He been knowing about this. He see what's going on. And that's why Coach Prime don't know what JuJu family got going on, because they can't trust him. They can't. How can I trust you? Obviously, they trusted him last year for JuJu to come there. But I can't trust you this year because look at what you are allowing to happen. Yes, the OC and the DC are bad. And the coach is covering for both of them. When he know for a fact he chased the DC up the field. But he don't have no smoke for Pat Schumer when he should. In particular because of Shadur. It said, Max said Coach Prime need to separate life from football. It's football. No, can you do that? It said not chase him up the field. He didn't chase him up the damn field. And Doc was laughing. I was like, okay, that's crazy, but okay. It said when the mic goes up from his face, he hears nothing. Be focused. He focused. What he focused on? Watching Pat Schumer take down the program? Because that's all that's happening. He's just too nice. See that right there? If you ever been in a relationship and a guy or a woman told you, regardless of what you are, that you too nice, they've been playing you, and clearly they have a conscience. When you say somebody's too nice, they're not management material. They're not. Nobody's going to ever tell somebody that holds other people accountable they're too nice. You only tell people they're too nice when you already been walking all over them and you turn and say, you know what, you too nice. You've been letting me get away with this. That's not good management material. And that tells you why he should have brought his OC and DC from Jackson State voluntarily, or he shouldn't have taken the job. Because for CU to supposedly want to get him because he can help revive a dormant program, but not bring the coaches that made, not elevate the coaches that made that program successful. I can bring them, but they can't get the job, even if they're white. I didn't come for you. I came to disrupt what you was doing. Check. And now, Pat Schumer out here taking you down. The NFL already turned their back. I looked at the calendar to see when Shadur gets in, when Coach Prime is finished, to see if they toss him to the side. And they might go, just give him one more year, but take his power like Mike Tomlin. And not Aaron Rodgers decide he want to go retire where Jordan Love is. He put that out there for nothing. Now they want to get rid of Mike Tomlin, who makes $18 million a year. But he don't have a losing season. But Stefanski can keep his job. I love Prime, but man up. Facts. We all do. But he ain't right, though. Because you went and got JuJu and you going to let that kid walk. You brought that other kid in and you going to let him walk too. You let all this talent go. Just tell me you made up your mind that you ready for them to pay you your buyout. Just tell me that. Like I say, blink. Let us know. Let us know what the expectation is. Because we don't want to be sitting up here asking, why are you letting Pat Schumer, Kevin Stefanski your program? Because that's what's happening. That ain't a good look for you. I can't wait for Bucky's movie to come out. I'm sure he knows what's going on in the inside. I mean, okay. That's fine. That's fine. It's that Prime won't like that. Prime wasn't like that at JSU. He didn't play with nobody at all. And I told y'all when he first got to Colorado, I said, oh, he different. I said he was yelling and screaming at them kids like he was a black dad with a belt. I said, he a little different over here at CU. And now, boy, if he go from 3 black quarterbacks to 3 white quarterbacks, Dr. Umar gonna be standing all over Coach Prime. And what's the other one named? Charleston White, him too. I'm like, they gonna be talking for days. Because that ain't a good look, bro. It's just Mike Tomlin all over again. I'm like, and then Mike Tomlin was mad with Andrew Berry. Remember that? That was funny. Oh, Lord. I'm like, that was too funny. It said, I think he was like that at JSU because he had more control there. I believe he's more restricted here. Right. But there's nothing in the optics of the entire situation at CU that leads you to believe until now that Coach Prime doesn't have free reign, that he isn't in total control. In fact, they said it. Colorado turned the keys over to him. So again, I felt like when he brought in Byron Leftwich, that was Coach Prime making a move to push Schumer out ahead of next year to come in to work with the quarterbacks. But somebody said JuJu, and I'm like, you can't do that. You can't bring in Byron Leftwich to work with JuJu and forget about Caden and all the other QBs. So I thought maybe that was the politics that was at play. But now, and I elevated Brett Bertolone, who came from Jackson State, who can't be the OC, but he could be the offensive pass coordinator. So that's Leftwich and Bertolone, 2 people with offense something in their title, which meant if Pat Schumer's on the way out, he should have been perfectly fine with that. Because you ain't gonna be here next year, but he decides at someone else's behest to bring up, to try to force Staub into the program, disrupt Caden, run off JuJu successfully, and run off the other kid who just went to Texas Tech successfully. So Schumer has been highly successful at running off these black quarterbacks, trying to push up Staub, and y'all think JuJu gonna stay there and be QB2 behind Staub. I told y'all before, they want Staub to be QB1 with Caden gone. And what did we learn in this game? Staub is QB2. For absolutely no reason. None. He shouldn't even have a scholarship. He should be paying his way because he's not good. That should be Ponder's spot. If he go from 3 black to 3 white, don't say nothing because that's the only way he's going to keep his job until, what's his name gone? In addition to the complex coaching situation, it's plausible we should consider whether Coach Prime is fully healthy. It don't have nothing to do with that. It don't have nothing to do with that. Whether he is or not, there's nothing that has nothing to do. Elaine, you know I love you. That has nothing to do with allowing Staub to be QB2. Nothing. Over JuJu. Nothing. And if it happened again, what's going to be the excuse? Because it can happen again. Because if he had freedom to elevate Bertolone to offensive pass coordinator and to bring in Leftwich, and none of that is actually happening, something happened to disrupt that. Something made him have to push back on those plans. And you would think Pat Schumer wouldn't have a problem because his contract is over after 3 games. But he seems to be hell-bent on taking down this program. So it's almost like I'm going to get to you before you get to me. And the kids are caught up in the middle. Then Shadur give Jordan his expensive car to keep him in Colorado. So the NFL gave him 4 to 6 and said, pay that. Said, pay that. I don't know. To be honest with you, anybody know anything about that? The message is stay in your place. There you go, Elaine. It said JSU, he was more ruthless. It said, I think until he started getting sick, he started getting softer. Could be. I love Prime. I am not his situation, but I don't know. Okay. It said that girl ain't got nothing to do with it. She minded her business. Thank y'all. I'm like, I see this woman everywhere doing everything else. That's why I'm like, I don't know if they really in a relationship. They might be like those people who hang out every now and then, just I'm gonna check in with you, what you got going on. Come to my game. She just like, to hang out or whatever. I don't really think it's like that. I mean, it could be. It could be. But she ain't the problem. That she is not the reason Staub is QB2. When y'all can tell me why that's happening, that's what's wrong with the program right there. Decisions like that don't make no sense. That's not helpful to the team, but you're obviously forced into it and you go along with it. That's what's wrong with the program. You should have pushed back on that. You should have never changed your mind. When you told them people, you knew who the 1 and the 2 was. It said, Barbara said, now, if we say Stefanski should be fired and the team record is about to be the same, then you can't say Coach Prime should stay. Who's controlling the narrative in Cleveland and Colorado? There you go. Here's the thing. We don't know who's controlling the narrative, but we know there's a correlation between Cleveland and Colorado. Pat Schumer? Because that's who it seemed like that's in control. His boy is QB2. Seemed like Coach Prime and Schumer had to sit down and have a conversation that Caden got to be the 1 because he was supposed to be the 1 and he better. But Staub can be the 2. So that leave JuJu out in the cold. If there was any kind of conversation to that conversation should have never happened. Coach Prime should have been like, I'm on tape saying before the Georgia Tech game, Caden is QB1, and I scoffed at them people. And who's QB2? He said he hoped JuJu gets in. JuJu was never QB3 behind Staub. Nobody ever agreed to that. You don't put a 5-star behind a kid that don't even have NFL aspirations. That's not good. The only person that Pat Schumer has ever talked about in terms of quarterback is Staub. He didn't have no feedback for JuJu. He didn't have no feedback for Caden. He said, I like the way he plays quarterback. He thinks like a quarterback. He's cerebral. He might be cerebral because he in college. But he ain't no quarterback. He's white. And to see Coach Prime be steamrolled and bullied out of 3 black quarterbacks, Ponder, Caden, and JuJu, for Staub, who's not good and have no future, unless they prop him up like Dylan. It's sad, considering it's the same thing that's happening to Shadur. And that's what it is, guys. That's what it is. So y'all, Carucci ain't the problem. Leave Miss Carucci alone. Leave Miss Carucci alone. Isn't that the same thing Kevin says about Dylan? Facts. All right, we're going to get out of here. This was good. All right, so we have had a conversation. This community is on the page. It's two things here. We ain't going to focus on this one, but it's a valid point. In our consciousness, we are now wondering why the hell it is that Coach Prime did not bring his Louis luggage, the OC and the DC, who both made it to Colorado but never got the opportunity. That we wonder about that. We're not focused on that, but that's just a thought. What we are focused on, we are trying to ascertain by way of paying attention to conversations that are had in the media, is why the hell is it that Coach Prime would allow Pat Schumer to run this program in the ground and have not fired him yet? Why would he be aligned with Pat Schumer, especially after Shadur had to call his own plays to succeed last year and is paying for it with his career in the NFL? Why would Coach Prime allow Colorado to be run like the clown show in Cleveland, which is negatively affecting Shadur? That's where we are as a community, trying to figure out what the hell it is that's going on, because this ain't like Coach Prime. We have all said that. And yeah, he might be a little bit more, whatever, less than, boisterous than he at Jackson State age. I get that, right? But that will never justify allowing Ryan Staub to be QB2 in front of JuJu, running off. JuJu, the kid that just went to Texas Tech and ruining Caden's opportunity. Because that's what it is. Caden has a 73% passer rating. JuJu left that game with a hurt hand and a 53% passer rating. Ponder had 2 maybe opportunities. And that's it. And that ain't right. So I guess we'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, everybody. We'll see what happens. Shedeur is headed back. He was already back. He was back late last night to Cleveland. So I guess they returned to practice, and we'll see what this circus got going on. Again, Colorado season ends before Shedeur is expected to play the last 4 games. Now, the Titans game. People want Shedeur to play against Cam. I don't know if they're gonna let Shedeur play against Cam, if they're gonna stick to the 4 games, if it have to just be the 4 games only, or if the Jets game is a disaster, if they don't rig that like they did Miami to make Dylan look good enough to keep Shedeur back for the last 4 games. Maybe Shedeur gets the opportunity to play against the Titans, and it'll just be something fun to watch. I don't know. I personally don't think, based on the way they acting, that they want that. They don't want them to go out there and have fun. They don't want them to be explosive. They don't want to capitalize off of it. In fact, I could see them smothering it, and that's why they intentionally chose the last 4 games, because it's outside the window of the Titans game. They doing Shadur dirty, and somebody doing Coach Prime dirty. It could be self-inflicted. I'm not sure. All right, so y'all let me know. We'll be back tomorrow. This was awesome. We'll be back tomorrow at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all for the dialogue. Thank y'all for the engagement. This just really good, right? Because a lot of people have a different view, a point of view from where they sit on what could be going on. And y'all brought up some really good points, right? But there is no justification. Absolutely no justification for Stab being QB2 unless you say Juju was leaving, and then should Juju have been in the game. So if you come up with a good reason why Stab is QB2, you let me know. And if it happened again, I guess we just gonna talk about that too. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. I'll see y'all later. See y'all. Have a good night. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.